What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, March 25th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I see we got a nice crowd in chat already. Good start to the show, and I see we've got some people in the Discord already too. Quite a few. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty good night. Let's see who we have in the chat. Mazir Salim, Moonshot, Chrissy, Harvey, or Heavey. Sorry, Chrissy. Dan Morris, Mark Collard, Ian Adams, Almost Unbelievable, Ranty, Brandon C, Shrumanati, Bill G, The Plain True, Dan Morris, Vegan Games, and more to come. Page 42 slid in there at the last second. What's up, Paige? Hope everybody's doing good. Let me give you the link to the Streamlabs in case you want to support the show. Oops, I wasn't on the thing here. Where is it? Hiding. Okay, here it is. Here is the Streamlabs donation link. This cuts Google out of the middleman, so if you do feel like supporting the show, this is the preferred method, but do it however the hell you want. If you want to join the show, come on into the Discord. You can hang out with the professional trolls, or you can come in and talk to us, present us something, come up with an idea, just come in and talk shit like some people do, or just sit and listen. Whatever the hell you want to do is okay with me. Or if you just want to listen out there, that's awesome too. No buffering? Am I buffering? Everything looks good. Sound is good. Thanks, Bill. Think we're okay. Cool. Ian Adams says that ISS footage triggered a lot of ballers. Yes, sir, indeed it did. The Excuse-a-thon has been amazing. You guys are really turning up the fire on this excuse meter there. It's really amazing. The rate at which you guys can pump out excuses and come up with semi-plausible ad hoc solutions to the problem that you see in front of you, hence something falling in what's supposed to be zero-G space environment, is breathtaking. Truly, I'm in awe of your talent, in awe of it, honestly. And boy, have we been hit from every single side. We've had pretty much every high-profile baller chime in on this already. Many of them joined the show yesterday. There was a lot of them in the chat. I know some videos are in the works because Wally likes to tell me he's going to make a video on everything that involves the ISS or anything else that we talk about. Looking forward to that. I'm looking for new creative excuses to expose to the audience. It's one of my favorite things to do, so bring it on. All right, we are going to be talking about that again, and I have done some analysis in Premiere, Zoom, and nothing fancy. I'm not exactly a forensic videologist or whatever the hell you would call a videologist. But I have slowed it down and zoomed in and watched it, 50 times. So I've started my analysis for the video I'm working on. And I don't see anything that contradicts our conclusions from yesterday. So we'll take a look at those short clips, talk about it a little more. And I'm sure a couple people will be in to tell us we don't see what we see and we don't hear what we hear. So I'm looking forward to that. What else besides that? A couple of articles that have been sitting in my queue for a while that we can talk about it. The dirty ISS, which we never got to talk about yesterday. Dirty in another way. And some other things. So we'll have some fun. And without further ado, let me get to the Discord and see what's going on in there.
Hope will give you pussy. So you have to make a alternate reality that's flat, and you can get flat bitches fucking you every day.
Which
you're
alternate
mental.
reality are you talking about?
It's
The
not
flat
analogous.
Earth.
No, man.
That doesn't.
Yeah,
have
this is
to
a
do with
fantasy you
anything?
have.
It is.
This
That's a
ball,
fantasy you have.
this ball stuff you have is a fantasy, dude. You live in a fantasy world
No.
that promised you all kinds of wonder and excitement, but
No.
you know it's fake. You know
No.
it's complete bullshit. So all you do now is talk about flat Earth because even you know the Earth is flat and stationary. You just
No.
want to deny it and
No.
make it pretend like somehow
No.
this ball is
No.
real.
No.
This is all fantasy, dude. It's
No.
all
It's
fantasy.
not fantasy.
No.
It's not fantasy, though.
Yes, it's all fantasy.
It's not, though.
This is a
Where's your
make-believe.
geometric horizon? Where's
What?
the sphere edge? Where's
Where's
the
the
geometric
sphere edge?
horizon?
I don't see it right now. I'm in the inside, so I don't
fantasy
really care.
worlds.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
Go for the
So-
bunkers.
So I mean,
You said you're at
I
SeaWorld?
see evidence for the globe. I don't see evidence for the flat Earth. I don't really
You don't have
care
the
about the
geometric
shape.
horizon. How about that evidence?
Arwen last night they said they can see the geometric horizon.
Really?
Yeah,
It's between
Nathan
you
Oakley
and
already,
the apparent horizon. Yeah.
Nathan Oakley already soundbited that.
Crit's a pro when it comes to fantasy worlds, make believe stories.
It's true. I mean,
You should-
I gotta
You
give
should
that
be
too.
able to point them out pretty quick. So if he says
What
you're
happened?
in a fantasy world, I'd have to believe him because he knows fantasy world.
What got soundbited?
I'll
So
stand
the-
behind it.
I've seen the geometric horizon. I'm really captivated by this. When did that happen? Since when does the horizon abide by geometry of the sphere?
Professor
that's very
Fullable
rare.
said so last night.
Ooh. Did they deliver any evidence to support their claim?
Of course not. Of
Oh,
course not,
okay,
Arwen.
okay. Okay.
We don't need no stinking evidence.
Evidence.
Who needs any stinking evidence?
Yeah, evidence from evidence.
What's up, guys? Pretty lively
What's
start.
What
here.
up?
Hey, Brandon.
What's going on? We're live now, of course. We've got a good crowd
We
in
are
the
in
house.
full
already.
La La Land mode.
Yeah.
Evening, Brandon.
Crit's got some
Complete
dedicated trolls. Hey,
bullshit.
Bob. You got some
Yeah, I know. I got
dedicated
trolls that follow me to every server I go. Everywhere I go, the trolls just follow me.
That sounds like a you problem, not a we
No,
problem.
it's not. They're my fans. I love my fans. Please, I you don't know how much it means to me.
Hey, I want to stand up for Crit because he didn't get a chance to ask Professor Fullable his question last night. So if we get that chance, we should give Crit that platform.
No, it's okay. I've talked to him before, and he always runs from the conversation.
No.
Yeah, it was a loaded question. I already knew. I knew because I've asked him before, and he won't answer it. So I predicted he wasn't going to answer it again.
That makes it science because you predicted it.
On 24/7 in the arena, I actually challenged him to debate that topic, and he always ran from it because he knows that he can't justify Newtonian gravity with gas pressure gradient and also show that these mountains have different gas pressure gradients, even though they have different distances to the core. He always talks about that it's weather or it's something to do with. Well, someone's hot mic in fear, sir. He comes up with all these excuses. He just drops excuse after excuse and then gets vulgar and then tells me I'm trolling or I'm not understanding it. You know, one time he posted like an image that showed the atmosphere going up to 30,000 feet. And then when I told him, well, what happens after 30,000 feet? Then he told me I said that space starts at 30,000 feet. I'm like, no, that's what you said. Your image showed 30,000 feet. Your image talked about a balloon. What happens if the balloon goes above 30,000 feet? He talked about energy. It gets hot. It gains energy. I'm like, this guy. I mean, if you read 24/7 Arena, it's all still there. All the text channel stuff. So.
Wow. So we got Crit in the house. Let me introduce at least the other people that are here very quickly. I'll just run through the names because we got a lot of people here. Arwen, Brian Leakey, Dr. Bob, Helvetica Bold, Mark, Travis, Jedi, Jimbo, Kitty, Not So Soft Paws, Mailman, Jeremy, Essie Montreal, and Stacy B. What's up, guys?
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Good, thank you.
Good crowd. So what's
Even
happening?
to you, Brandon.
You guys been getting a lot of feedback, or you heard any rumblings about that video we absolutely destroyed yesterday?
Oh,
Seems like
Yeah.
Mark is posting something right now, by the
Oh,
way.
the
He's
ISS
showing
one?
how it's still there, but at the same time, we know that was edited back in.
Veach told me 5 minutes ago they don't have small hard things on the ISS.
Not only that, Jem said
But
that
come
he
on,
dis-
guys, you gotta admit it. Like that thing, that video situation, it really was meant to be an attention trap. It was really meant to draw in people and get conflicted over it. And
No, it wasn't. They're going to go live sometimes, and they're not going to be mistake-free, man. And so the best they can do is cover up their bullshit. But anybody with eyes to see, man, come on, man. It's fucking obvious when they fuck up. And then they do something like let a stuffed animal appear in the top right-hand corner to an elementary school, and they say, well, how could they fake it? And the next video is a live video to an elementary school class with a stuffed animal just appearing out of nowhere, and then the lady's handling it. And there's one way. They just showed you, right?
So you're assuming there's a live recording then?
Yeah, they got a set. He's from right across the, right down the road from where he went to school. And then he's like, oh, shit, he just accidentally, I just actually said that. He's like, yeah, not far from right down the road where I went to school. We're recording this video. Like, what, was you flying right by that state at that exact second? He knew he fucked up. I mean, I could go on, man.
So
They got to
you're
go live here
assuming
and
there's
there.
a live
and-
recording and they left everything as is.
Fuck no. No
Right.
way.
So then you have to come to the conclusion that they left this shit right there.
But why? Because they can.
Right.
Because nobody gives
To
a
grab
shit
your
if they mess
attention.
up or not,
To
because they
grab your
believe it so
attention.
damn much. No. It's just like the whole
So many
COVID thing
people
when they
talking about it
faked
for
the
2
footage
hours
from
straight.
Italy. Remember? And they brought it here. Nobody gave a shit. It's the same thing now. They're allowed to do whatever they want, and everybody believes fantasy. So they can even mess up like that, and guess what? You still have Globbers go, everything's fine. We don't care to edit it. Nobody cares in the world. That's the problem, and they can get away with it.
Even if they left it for a trap, which I admit is a definite possibility, but I also think it's a possibility that they do so much of this shit. They do so many of these recordings and videos. They're bound to make mistakes. They're bound to fuck up. And once
Hold on,
it's out there,
listen real.
do you scrub it from the internet, or do
No,
you
it's-
Once
explain
it's
it
out,
away?
how does it get out there?
Hold on, just real quick. Just
How
be real
does it
quick.
get out there unless
Can you not
it's
hear
went
me?
through editorial?
Well, have you ever
Right?
written a
We hear you,
paper
Travis.
and had somebody read
You're
it and then turn it
assuming with
in
this
and you
constantly
find
that
a
there's
bunch of
some live
typos later?
recording going on.
These things happen, Arwen.
All right,
You're
listen, just
assuming
real
there's
quick.
live recording going on.
No. I'm assuming
Then
that
why-
they're not
do
very good
live-
at catching
they-
everything.
I just want to.
Dude, why
I'm
would the
I'm just trying to-
editorial let things like that slip through?
I
That's
just.
like
just trying-
purposeful negligence then.
I'm just waiting for.
Sorry,
Incompetence.
Travis.
Okay, just real quick. Listen, it's just like 1984, right? They changed this shit right in front of your eyes, and you don't even see it. Some people see it, and it's like a glitch in the matrix, and they don't understand it, right? They do.
Somebody
that.
was. Oh, my
It's
bad.
on.
My
It's on
bad.
purpose. The Mandela effect is 1984 when they change shit right in front of your eyes.
Somebody was literally saying last night that this screw drop or nut drop thing was a glitch in the matrix.
Well, it depends on what type of excuse you want to come up with, right? And this is what we had a lot of yesterday was excuses. But primarily we're talking about a mistake that's been made and we've caught them doing it. And how many mistakes are they going to have to make before we come to the decision that they're actually making mistakes because this stuff is shit? But we don't
The only
necessarily have to look.
the only legitimate
just gonna-
comeback they had
wanna just
was that the
get to
screw.
the
Hold on,
Brian.
We couldn't.
Brian.
Okay, sorry.
We don't necessarily always have to look to NASA to give us these mistakes. We can literally look back to the official narrative of 9/11 when we can talk about the BBC and the news footage of or regarding Building 7. We were told in the footage that it had fallen, but in the back of the footage it was still there, and then the scene was cut. Now, this was obviously a mistake made by them because the building had already gone down, or sorry, was still up, or whatever the story was. It was an obvious mistake is the point. The thing is, how many times do we have to come up with an explanation for these people for an obvious mistake, an obvious lie? It's like an abusive relationship, right? You're just going to come up with excuses for these people.
Hey, Brandon.
Yo.
Yeah, just real quick, as far as making mistakes and things like that, I just want to bring up a quick point. Do you remember in Game of Thrones, they accidentally left a 4x4 truck in the background of one of the scenes in Game of Thrones?
Oh, that's right. And a Starbucks cup on one of the tables. Good examples.
Continuity errors. Yeah, that awesome.
Right. So I just want to say in the most professional, example of a high multi-million-dollar production, mistakes get made.
Absolutely.
But the point is the mistake was made, and then there was an edit, and then it was back. So they actually knew that they had to change this mistake, and then they said, "Oh, that'll be good enough. No one gives a shit." Why did they go back and edit it then?
my wife pointed out Khaleesi's Starbucks cup in one scene. I'm like, no shit. She noticed the truck too. She notices all that shit. But I'm gonna say the only legitimate point they had was that we couldn't actually see the screw fall, but we did see that it was there, and then we did see that it was gone. And yeah, they made mistakes. It's possible. Anything's possible. I try to keep open mind that maybe they do throw that shit out there for us. But in my opinion, they do it a lot. They're gonna have to go live sometimes. And to end it, I'm gonna say. A few years back, probably about 10 years ago, I watched Fred Taylor dive for the end zone, and live, and in the football, he touched the pylon in the end zone with the football. It's a touchdown, right? And so they reviewed it, all this shit. It was toward the end of the season, and I'm arguing with my brother all this stuff, and we checked the rules, and it's a touchdown. Later on in ESPN, they showed him dive for the end zone, and the ball was over the pylon. When we just seen it live 50 feet away, he knocked the pylon over in the air. I'm like, wow, dude, that showed me that, man, shit, boy, they're doctoring shit right there. And that's before I even woke up.
That's interesting. I'm sharing my
My-
screen
my
in the
point-
Discord and on YouTube, and I think Stacy was that mentioned the edit, and there was some question. I was going to slow it down, so I've done that, and I just want to show this to you to substantiate this one piece of what we noticed last night. There is a very, very clear
Okay.
edit, so I've slowed this down. We'll just watch it one time, so everybody can see that there's a clear
Thank you.
cut here. Can you guys see it? It's coming up in just a second. He's getting ready to close the door. I don't know.
Yep.
There you go. So that is clearly an edit, 100%, no questions about it.
My point.
And
My
that's the
point.
point. Why would they edit it? They knew.
Cutscene. It's just a cutscene.
Yeah, it might be a cutscene. That's possible, but why did they make it, why'd they make it look like it was all one motion? And I wish I spoke whatever language, maybe Polish. Is this guy Polish? I'm not sure where he's from.
Yeah, so,
But the video's in
Brandon,
Polish,
freaking
and
Dutch.
I can't understand what he's
Crying out
saying
loud.
to know if
Nederlands.
he's supposed to be saying one continuous long statement during this cutscene, or
You
if
want me to
or if he
directly
says one
translate it?
thing and then when the door is closing, immediately it's like he starts saying another thing. It sounds like one long sentence, but it just might be a quick cut, and he's talking about two different subjects. I would love if someone speaks Polish to take a look at this.
Yeah.
It's not freaking Polish, dude. It's Dutch. It's
Dutch.
my name.
Arwen said he.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
Arwen.
I was ignoring you because you were interrupting me, but
Arwen said he could translate
that was
it.
a good interruption.
Arwen said he could
That
translate
was a
it.
decent interruption. Here, let me
Yeah.
let me change the
So,
speed down.
yeah, I'm not hearing it through your channel, so
No, you won't.
where can I find the video?
Here, let me see if I can drop this clip. I don't think so. I'll export it in the background, Arwen, and we'll come back to it. And I'll drop it in the general Discord. And
I
then you
could
can
real
take a look
quick.
at it.
play it.
Real quick.
I
Real
could
quick.
mute this and then listen through the YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Maybe write it down or something so you
Go
when you're
mute
if you have
now.
something.
Okay, it's
Thanks,
going to
Arwen.
Real
happen in
quick.
about 30 seconds because I think there's.
While
delay.
he's on mute, everybody hide.
Oh, here, I'll play it a couple times while he's gone. We don't have to be quiet or anything, but just listen to what. I guess it's good for you guys to listen to what he says, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. So let me play it. Oh, you guys can't hear it. That's right. Duh. God, I'm an idiot. All right, I'm gonna start it over one more time.
we've all seen it. His head jerking down was enough for me, man. But I want to point out, I think Jeremy had it on the head when he said they just use, they keep, okay, go. Sorry.
Brian. Arwen can't hear it if you talk over it. So just let me play it one time with no interruptions, and then we'll get back to talking.
Brandon, can you mute that science truth things, mate? Because he's fucking making a terrible noise.
Sorry.
There we go. Thanks. Here, let me play it one more time in case Arwen missed it or whatever. But did you guys... Oh, you can't hear it. All right, that was it. So anyway, he just speaks continually. It sounds like one long thing. So we'll see what Arwen says. And there was one other clip that I got out of there. Oh, I'm getting feedback from someone there.
Yo,
Brian, you were saying something. Go-
I
oh,
just checked the YouTube. It's not, the sound is not coming through. Can somebody post it in the general chat?
oh, is it not? Shit.
No.
I was just gonna say that Jeremy had it pegged, man. I think we've all known this, you know, probably one time or another. But they keep us in the corner, consolidated. They use us, Jeremy. They don't got to pay you $1,000 a fucking day. They got a whole team of us right here. We've seen them edit We've seen them edit Wikipedia and the NASA, the SpaceX live. Where they edit everything. We catch all their shit.
Hey, well,
Yeah, it's
Arwen
obvious
checks that.
they're watching. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Essie.
see you were saying something.
Yeah, Brandon, I think I noticed something else when he opens that whatever that is. Did you guys notice the wires? There could be nothing, but are they oriented towards the down position?
Towards the down position.
Are they hanging free?
Yeah, have a look, guys. What do you think?
Could be that they're just plastic cords, and that's the
Okay.
way
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
strung up.
Guys, I just took a look at a 50-second video clip. You really want to know what he mentioned? He was talking about where urine was being caught in the system, and then the screw dropped, pretty much. So
Did you listen to the part where he closes this door?
I'll listen to it right now. Hold on.
Okay, cool. All right, there we go. Then I'll show you guys this other part. We don't need to hear the sound for this, so I don't know why it's not coming through on YouTube.
Hey, Brandon, tell Arwen that you think that he stops talking and starts again, and it's not consistent, right?
What's that mean? Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I think he.
Oh,
I hope you
right.
understood that.
Sorry, it wasn't in the video.
It wasn't in the video that's on YouTube?
No, this was just some clip.
Okay. All right. I'll get you the video, Arwen. In a minute. All right. So here's the portion. I've kind of zoomed in on the portion. This is starts directly before he messes with the knob and the O-ring, and ends afterwards. And you'll be able to clearly see, well, not too clearly, because the only highest video that I found was 360p. But this should be, you should be able to see it anyway. Ready? There's the O-ring. Jerk. No O-ring. Clear as day. Couldn't be clearer that the O-ring dropped.
No way to dispute that.
No way to dispute. I mean, it's super obvious. So.
You know the choppy video? Are you serious?
What's that?
We can't say for sure where it went, but we know.
Somebody's got feedback.
We've also got to consider that he's looking at something totally different than we are. I mean, he can't be fucking retarded, okay? And what he's saying is fucking retarded. So he could literally be seeing something different than we're fucking seeing, dude. I mean, it sounds stupid, but dude, you think all these bars are just retarded? Because they would have to be to not see a fucking a bolt sitting there 1 second, a O-ring, and then gone the next. It's fucking, this ain't rocket science. You know what's behind this supposedly is? Dude, they might be seeing something totally different, dude. I just got to throw that out there because this is getting stupid.
Well, let me understand.
I hope,
let me understand
Scott
what you're
Beach
saying,
is what-
Brian. Are you saying that they are like they have an overlay for their eyes, and they're literally?
There ain't that
seeing
many
something
for us. No, I'm
different?
saying we got different video than they got. There ain't many of us, okay? And I'm just throwing that out there, dude. Do you really think that Ed and Doctor and Bob, the science guy, you know, Ruhif, do you think they're retarded? They would have to be to not see the fucking ring right there, and then see that it's gone right after the noise. I mean, I don't think they're retarded. Just maybe Ed.
You don't
But
understand what it is to be a glober. You don't remember.
Who knows
don't
what
remember.
happens when the video cuts out, dumbass?
Dude,
Being a
just
glober is all
just
about
15 minutes ago over at
making up
Gems, they were
reasons
swearing.
why things don't match. That's what being a glober is all about, right?
Just 15
It's all
minutes
about what
ago
is
over
real.
at Gems, they were swearing up and down that there's no way those things cannot fly off There's nothing in the ISS that can detach. And here they are right in front of their eyes.
Yeah, that's not the point. You don't know what happened when the video cut out. You're just assuming.
What happened to that thing?
I don't know.
I
The
also
video
don't
cut out.
recall
You're
them saying
assuming
that.
things.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean
No,
we don't know
it
what
was
happened
there
when the
one
video
minute
cut
and
out?
then gone the next.
Clarify that for a minute. What do you mean we don't know what happened when the video come out? What are you talking about when the video cut out?
Looks extremely choppy on this end. So.
Yeah, it's zoomed
supposed
in.
to
It's 360p. You can still clearly see it.
No, I didn't talk about the pixels. I said choppy.
No, that's
As
two
in it's cutting
excuses.
in and
But I
out.
asked you what you meant when you said we don't know what happened when the video cut out, and then you said it's
Yeah.
choppy. You didn't answer my first question.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's skipping frames. So there you go.
Oh, okay. Have you seen this video?
Complaining
That
about
Ed?
the format, familiar grounds.
So hold
So
on.
you're saying it's
skipping
not a-
frame could make something disappear? Is that what you're saying?
It
Check
means if it's skipping frames, you don't know what happened in between because it skipped frames, dumbass.
That is
So you're
that's
saying
retarded
it's
excuse.
not a
the
cut.
frame ate it, dumbass. Maybe the frame
So
ate it, you moron.
Saying it's not a cut and it's just skipping frames?
Are you deaf? I said you don't know what happened when it was skipping frames because it wasn't recording
Listen,
properly
hold
then.
on.
No, it was
Okay, hold on. How can we take what Ed is saying and walk through and evaluate what he is actually saying, right? So he's saying that there's frames that are being skipped, and somehow within one of those frames, this object could not be there. So Brandon, just go like frame
Right.
by frame by frame, and let's take Ed's claim apart.
Yeah, sure. It's a good thing that I took some frames out, so this should be real quick here. And I'll just walk through some select
Yeah,
frames here for your viewing pleasure. Can you see this, Ed, or is it too choppy for you to see?
Is it playing a video?
No, it's a still picture. Is it?
Yeah, then why are you asking if it's choppy? Are you for
Because
real?
you were making up excuses a minute ago about choppiness and stuff. So I'm making sure that
Yeah,
you're
that's
happy with the
skipping
quality
frames.
of this
That's
image that's
skipping
on the
frames,
screen right now. I
Brandon.
wasn't done
That's
talking.
skipping
You asked me a question,
frames,
I answered,
Brandon.
and I wasn't done.
Skipping frames, Brandon.
Can you look at the screen right now, Ed, please, and tell me if you can clearly see this O-ring right here? Can you clearly see that O-ring? Yes or no?
Which one?
The bottom one of the two.
Of the two, what?
You know which one, moron.
On the
Point it out
left.
with your mouse.
Okay, see this white
Listen.
dot right here? It's over two O-rings right now. I'm going to move it. Do you see those two O-rings? And do you see the bottom one?
Yeah, and from where is it skipping frames? Forward in time, back in time? Where exactly was that person in that position to skip a frame from?
Hold-
And wasn't
hold
this
on,
supposed to be a
wait,
continuous
let's not go
video
back
with
to
no
that.
cuts?
Hold on, Brian. I asked him a question. Do you see these two O-rings? Ed.
I posted what I'm looking at in the chat, and please tell me what the fuck you mean.
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Look in the chat.
It's
What
a
the
simple
fuck?
question. Okay.
What do you mean?
That is the image that I'm showing on screen right now. His hand is going up towards two O-rings that are hanging from pins on the wall. I'm covering it with a yellow or white circle right now. I'm moving the
His
white
hand.
circle. They're right here. Do you see those O-rings?
At the white circle or at his hands? At his hand.
Do you see these O-rings? Yes or no? Because I'm about to kick you off the fucking thing if you can't answer this.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to look at.
Yeah.
Sesame Street,
That's
point to
why
the
I
circle.
told Brandon, he's playing
He's
with
retarded.
No,
exactly
no.
why I can't.
First you're saying the white thing, then you're saying his
this
hand.
is exactly why I can't.
So which one is it? His hand or the white circle?
Point to the circle, dipshit.
Okay, the white circle right now is over two O-rings in the image of the astronaut on the ISS. The O-rings are on the wall that he's reaching towards. I'm putting the white circle here so you know in which area to look. Now I'm moving the white circle. Do you see the O-rings that white circle was previously covering that are hanging on the wall?
I see some pixels, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Kick his ass out.
See, Ed, you fucking idiot. That's your baller
Yeah.
representation there, folks.
It is.
Good
That's
moment.
why.
Intellectual
I
honesty.
apologize, guys.
Hey, you
I
guys,
apologize, to what you call it, to Ruhif, for putting that on that list, because he is retarded. But it's the same thing as trying to explain to them the rocket's going up and then it's going down. Like, look, guys, it's going up, now it's curving, now it's going down. You see it going up, it's curving, now it's going fucking down. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about at the very beginning about the bullshit, right? Nothing they do is all based in the fantasy world. And anything they see that disrupts that fantasy, they have to lie, they have to obfuscate about it, they have to pretend it doesn't exist. They can't even trust their own senses, and they'll tell you that. How do they even
He
survive?
came here to cause confusion, bro.
Yeah,
That's all
listen,
he did.
I just want to make it clear, because he brings this up all the time, that I backed out of my debate with him. I backed out for this exact reason. I did not want to argue against an insane person.
They have this subjective morality that they think by any means
mentally handicapped, not insane.
Yeah, this is what they're doing. Okay, they think they're smart, but they're really stupid because they feel like they can just use this subjective morality. Because you think the Earth is flat, they can do whatever they want. They don't have any scruples about telling lies anymore because they've already deemed the flat Earth to be a lie. But
that only goes so far, though, bro.
But
that only goes so far. Like if you got it in your head set that the Earth is a globe, and so anything you say to justify it is legit, that can only go so far. You can't discredit. You're sitting here looking at two rings, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That by any means necessary.
Who's saying my name?
Like today.
Say my name.
They'll lie about anything because at the end of the day, they think it's okay. Because
I'm
even
trying
their
to get
own...
a quick word in edgewise. I
Oh,
can't
go
seem to
ahead.
Get one.
I know I'm kind of maybe seem like I'm adding a lot of stuff. Then
Not
go
a
ahead.
problem. Brandon, in all fairness, I'm looking in general chat at the image that you're showing. Okay.
Yeah.
The ring is down at about 4 o'clock, or the white circle's down around 4 o'clock in the image. Is that correct?
The white circle is off to the side now after I had moved it away from the area that I wanted
All
him
right.
to focus on.
The only one that I see is a white circle down in the right lower quadrant of that picture. The O-rings are on the wall next to his hand, well away from that
Holy
white
shit.
circle.
Okay.
And that was the confusion that you were causing. And that was what he was very clearly trying to clarify with you.
No,
I
no.
can see the O-rings, not a problem.
Nice revisionist history, but I'm glad that you said that.
No,
that you
Bob.
can
I'm
see
looking
the
at it
hold on,
right
guys.
here.
That you can see the O-rings clearly. I appreciate you at least being able to say that you can see the rings on the wall clearly, because I went through that whole thing where I said they're going to be behind the white circle. I'm moving the white circle.
not by
Look
the
on the
white
wall.
circle.
You see the white
He's
circle?
not listening.
Right now, they're over it.
They are not near the white circle.
They are
in
now.
The image
They
that
are
is
now.
in.
Are you watching
Okay,
my
well, they
screen
weren't
in
then.
Discord, Bob?
No.
Well, that is probably
I'm looking
your
at the
confusion.
image that you posted. I'm looking at the image
I
you
didn't
posted
post any
in
image.
general chat.
I didn't post
There's
any
an image posted in general chat. That's the O-rings that I see.
I was talking
Gave
then
Ed
and about 10 minutes before that about my screen that I've been sharing in the Discord. We talked about it multiple times that I'm sharing my screen. Ed was not confused. He was trying to cause confusion.
Yeah,
Bob,
Brandon gave
click
Ed
on
simple
Brandon's
instructions.
picture,
and-
please.
No one else was confused.
I would say it's a little bit of both. Ed's not only confused, he's suffering from confusion at the same time. So he wants to add more confusion to the world, so his level of confusion doesn't seem as bad anymore.
That's correct.
Maybe. But
No, he
Bob,
just-
now that
Hey,
you,
in all honesty, since we're being honest, good.
Bob, now that you've spoken up, maybe you can just walk through this. You've already, said that you see the O-rings
No,
on
I'm
the
really
wall,
not
right?
gonna
Are you
address-
watching my screen
I'm
now?
not going to address it. I'm not going to address it.
Well, it's
I really
a
don't
simple
care about
question.
it.
I'm not going to ask
Why?
you if it's fake. I'm just going to ask you about
You
the
got
O-rings.
no. This is your little thing. You go ahead and do it.
Well, since we're being honest, the only thing I don't see the ring actually fall, I just see the guy's head jerk down naturally, like 100 out of 100 people would do. If they drop something, then I hear it, and then it's gone. And so
we already said that.
Yeah,
we
we've
don't
said that
we don't
repeatedly.
literally
Yeah.
see the O-ring. Right? So the O-rings are on the wall. Here's another shot when his finger is on it. You can still see the O-ring. Here is where he did his oopsie. Here's where he looked down. Now look at the wall here. No O-ring.
Without any doubt, any shadow of the doubt, that O-ring is missing. I hope you're watching, M. Scott Veach and Jem.
100% O-ring not there. Here's a second shot from a different point, a couple frames later, that clearly shows there is no O-ring there. You can still see the top O-ring.
A lot of globalists will tell you that this stuff is faked, but they fake it because it's too expensive to actually do it real on station.
I'll accept that to clear their insanity. You know,
Yeah.
in all fairness, if you tell me like the shit they show us about the moon landing, okay, they went to the moon, that shit they show you is fake, but they did go. I'll argue with you on that. But don't fucking tell me that a motherfucker threw a hammer at his foot and couldn't pick it up without jumping up in the air. And I mean, dude, what is it? It's like, I don't know, you know?
That's the one thing, when you get an honest glober, actually a globalist who says, I know the Earth is a globe, I know they went to space, and they can look at this and say, now that is complete horseshit. The government should not have faked it because they ruin their credibility when they do stuff like this. Because now people can look at it and say, that is bullcrap. Now why are they presenting bullcrap? Why are they presenting bullshit?
I might have bought into the mystery, like maybe it wasn't Neil Armstrong that went to the moon. You know, he obviously didn't want to lie because the moon is only 50 miles wide and it's only a fucking few hundred miles up or some shit. So they didn't show you the real thing. You know, but don't tell me what that they're showing us. It's fucking real. And don't tell me the president talked to the motherfuckers 240,000 miles away live and they had air conditioning for a few days on fucking 50 batteries. There's no way, dude. Can't do it now.
Let me say something, Brian, important. Let's make one thing clear, that this is not us saying that there's an ISS up there. We're saying this is done on a plane or wherever the hell it's done, and we caught them on their fakery. Let's make that clear now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we're saying is, hey, look at this. Why doesn't this comport with what we're told? Why is there a contradiction here when we see evidently something falling in what's supposed to be a zero-G environment, and then we have 20 different people, nearly, a bit of an exaggeration, but not by much, come in and tell us different excuses why we didn't see what we saw. That's what we're playing.
Yeah, I see a light going out over me. A light going over me. They claim is the ISS. I see a light, and then I've seen some people get footage that look like ISS. Okay, but what I see and what the time lapse is a light that says that they claim is the ISS, and I'll tell you everything that they claim about it. And personally, do I think there's people 250 miles up going 17,500 miles an hour? No, I don't. Do I think there could be people up there 50 miles, you know, whatever miles, you know, maybe, you know, but what you're showing us ain't it, okay? That's my point.
You know what? You guys should change it from the heliocentric model to the coincidental model, or the model of convenience, or something like that. You need a different name for it that really describes exactly what it is, because that's all you guys do is claim coincidences, claims plausible ad hoc excuses, tell us not to trust our senses. I mean, it's ridiculous, guys.
They got science fiction
I know the name of it, Brian. Brandon?
Yeah.
The model that's not a model, but you can think of it as a model.
A little wordy, but yeah.
They can't even tell us what kind of model is it. Is it a scientific model? Is it a mathematical model? Is it a, you know, what kind of model is it? Give us a name.
That's what we talked about yesterday, Jeremy, with Kosho. He said it was accurate, though. It was a description and mathematics and everything else, but I asked about reality. Is it accurate? And he says yes. Well, that's where the illusion starts happening and the delusion in people's minds.
If we're being honest, it's a model partially from a Jesuit-trained Catholic priest.
Well, it's been adopted by a lot of people in power, and that's where it came from as well. Don't forget that. This was given to us by the powers that be. The Royal Society of London was, if not started as an establishment organization, it was co-opted shortly afterwards and blessed by the Queen. So if you think anything came out of that society that was inconvenient to the worldview of the Queen and the powers that be at that point in time, you are fucking insane. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to show you on this, guys. I'm going to keep analyzing it. And I know Yossi, shout out, has done a video kind of, you know, trying to explain some of this way. I'm going to take a look at his video. He did an analysis, to be fair. and
Is he a globber? Or?
yeah, and integrate his excuses in there. I'm eagerly awaiting Wally's excuses, and I'll take a look at those. But I just think it's important to point out obvious contradictions when we see them, and keep reminding ourselves of this. I mean, people noticed this 5 years ago. Don't get me wrong. This is not a trail we're blazing here with it, any of this fake ISS stuff. But I think it's good to remind ourselves why we're here, the things, the contradictions, and the supposed anomalies, and the things that got us into this in the first place was, hey, NASA's faking shit. It's obvious the moon landing is fake. I came here via the moon landing. I think that's important to remember that stuff.
Yeah, for decades I've been I've known the moon landings were fake. So this isn't that was like a stepping stone for me, if you will. So it was easier for me to believe NASA's lying because I already knew they were lying. So
right.
Yeah, but man, if you really look at it, man, like you look at the last the what you call it, the damn Dragonfire or whatever it is, where that dude Kelly or whatever his name is says, we're working out these problems before we go to the moon. They're not directly lying on camera, they're really feeding us the truth. That and Buzz said we didn't because we didn't go there. I mean, they are literally telling us the truth if people would just hear it.
Yep, I hear you. There was another thing that came up with the ISS. And I meant to bring this up yesterday. This is just a quick one.
I believe that everybody is responsible for their own lies. So whoever claims that, hey, the shielding was this or the Van Allen belts was that, they are responsible, not NASA. They are responsible for claiming that shit personally. So that's what we need to point out to everybody. You're responsible for your own fucking lies. So hope you're getting paid well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the flip coin of that,
Everybody
flip side of that,
accountable.
Brian, we're
The
responsible
algae,
for our
Brandon?
own worldview, and we are accountable to ourselves
Yes.
and to the people around us for our own worldview and what we put out into the world. If I'm wrong, fine. Someday I'll admit I'm wrong. That's fine. But I'm not going to take another man's word for it, especially the powers that be, who we know are continuous liars, and just go, oh, well, they said it so they're not lying. I'm going to believe them. Fuck
Exactly.
I want to clarify a little bit. Like, let's say I would not hold NASA responsible for Don Pettit saying, we lost that technology. We went to the moon and we lost that technology. That was Don Pettit making that claim. I would hold Don Pettit responsible because NASA's video trial by fire said we can't get to the moon, and then they also said with all the money in the world, all the money in the world, Mr. President, we can't get you to the moon. So they're pretty much saying, that they can't go. It's just there are certain people defending them. Where them are the people responsible. So everybody, y'all see what I'm saying, right?
Oh yeah, like right now,
Brian,
NASA.
but what if? Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
I would say right now, NASA costs more than all the other space agencies combined. If that's not enough money, no amount of money will do it at that point.
That's because NASA fakes it the best, bro. I'm telling you. You ever seen some of this Chinese, other country bullshit that they put out? It's absolute ridiculousness. I mean, at least NASA tries.
It's Hollywood. Nobody can compete with Hollywood.
Yeah. Why do
We
you
can
think they gave
hold
us
though
them?
Dawn accountable, right? But it reminds me of like the whole moon landing stuff and everything. And when they came back and the looks on their faces, right? It looked like they had been told what to say, told what to do, and they didn't like it. Almost like they were blackmailed. So when you think about that, if someone was telling you, you're going to say this for your job, and it's not the time, or whoever's telling them, or this is going to happen to you or your children or whatnot, you would not believe how many people, including truthers, that will fall in line when they're blackmailed.
Yeah, if somebody told me, listen, you say this or we're going to kill your whole family and everyone you love, you better believe I'm going to be saying, hey, we were on the moon bouncing around like idiots. Yeah, it was great.
Like a motherfucker bouncing around on the moon. Shit.
That's what I was going to say. Would you still hold Don Pettit responsible if NASA made him, like, at the force of a gun?
Right.
No.
Or no? I wouldn't either.
No, I understand.
I think
that
it
some
comes
people get
natural.
themselves in hard
Buzz got his
situations.
message
That's
out.
like blaming a hostage for what they do while they're a hostage, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Buzz got his message out clearly because we never went, and that's how it went. Because we never went, and that's how it happened. Okay, so he got the truth out, and he cleared his conscience. And if you don't want to hear what he said, then that's up to you. But he said we never went, and that's how it happened.
He did say that clear as
I've been
day.
recently blackmailed
However you choose
myself.
to interpret what he said, he did say that.
You know, but there is a point where you have to go through that, you know, internally, what you're going to do with it. I've been blackmailed. Was it at gunpoint? Was it I felt damaged like that? No. So I didn't feel like my life was threatened in that manner at that exact time because I was safe in a way. But when you're talking about your reputation online and everything, I've been blackmailed, but I stood in truth because a lot of times when you stand in truth, it doesn't matter. It will win in the end. But a lot of these people, it has to be deeper than just, oh, we're threatening your job, right? Because a job, you can replace it with another one. But if people are doing things and saying things that they don't want to say, then there's more that they're being blackmailed, way more.
Yep. Hey, Travis, your mic's doing that squeaky thing where it.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I like to think there's a reason. You know, we probably all thought that. Like, maybe there. I hope there's a good fucking reason they're keeping us enclosed. You know, when Byrd literally said that, you know, on his 5th trip to Antarctica. Okay, his 5th trip with a whole armada. That damn, you know, after, you know, and this is after he got back, that from to the South Pole, past the South Pole from Middle America, there's a land bigger than the United States, not the same size, not smaller, bigger than the United States, and that would be somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Then one more thing, Byrd's claiming that he's about to go alone to hunker down for the 9-month winter. And I got a lot of sunset, sunrise things that'll probably be my next video. A lot of information on sunrise times and all that. But yeah, he clearly said he's hunkering down for the 9 months of darkness. Okay, and you know, people don't want to hear that either. I don't know. That puts you in the middle of the Indian Ocean. If there's a past the South Pole from Middle America, there's an area bigger than the United States. That puts you in the Indian freaking Ocean, and there's no snow there and all. I mean, come on, man. The truth is out there for the ears that want to hear it.
There's video of them swimming, Admiral Byrd's men swimming in Antarctica.
Yeah, I've seen
That's
that. I
why I
don't know
made
what
that
to
point
think
earlier.
about
It's
the
harder and
whole
harder to
Admiral
find.
Byrd story. It's like it's so weird because it seems so unusual that he would get on television and actually say that they found this extra land and no one would talk about it after that. I mean, why wasn't that a
Agreed.
big deal? Why don't people talk about that? What happened?
Did you ever look at a map of
closed it off.
Antarctica?
They closed it off with a treaty to keep people from asking questions.
Yeah, no, I've looked at
But
a
do you
map of
see his
Antarctica,
demeanor?
Bob.
It
Why do
reminds
you
me of
ask?
the moon landing again. Look at his demeanor, the way he's talking on that. When this, you know, the bird guy was. It was literally like he was saying stuff. He wasn't happy about it. If you had, you know, seen all these things, wouldn't you kind of be really happy to say, "Hey, there's more land, or this, or that"? You wouldn't have this look at your face like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be
Brandon, did you
flipping
ever look
tables,
at a map?
dancing around.
Hold on, guys. Bob's
Go
trying
ahead,
to
Bob.
ask.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead.
Brandon, did you ever look at a map of Antarctica?
Yes, of course.
Great. Where's Little America?
Well, I couldn't point it out. I'd have to look at the map. Why?
Okay, well, if you look at Little America and you go from Little America to the South Pole, the second half of Antarctica is on the other side of the South Pole, and it's actually larger than the continental United States. Just thought I'd clear that up for you.
So you think he was
No, it's
talking
not.
about Antarctica when he said past Antarctica, there's more land?
Past the South Pole.
Past the South Pole. So that was newsworthy to say, oh, the Antarctica doesn't end at the South Pole. There's another side to Antarctica. The South Pole's actually in the middle of it. Did you think they didn't know that
No,
before, Bob?
His
Right,
point was that
that's
there was
normal,
a
right?
tremendous amount of land down there that could be exploited for resources.
It
if you
was
actually
because he was
listen to
talking
the,
about
interview.
piles
He said
of
there
minerals
lays
and
a-
piles of all kinds of stuff. And Bob,
Exactly.
that sounds like an ad hoc explanation. Can you give us a kind of a reference for why you think that?
Yeah, it's called the Map of Antarctica, and I did a video on it a year ago.
So you just made
this
it up.
very issue.
Essentially,
This,
is what you're saying. You're interpreting
no,
Admiral Byrd's
no,
words
this is
on what he meant.
this is a
based
standard.
on
No,
this is just a possibility that you're bringing up. Is that what it is?
No, I'm putting his words in context exactly based on what he said, and I did a video on it a year ago.
What context? Because he didn't.
If you look at the map of Antarctica, if you look at the map of Antarctica, what he said was that if you go past Little America, there is enough land on the other side of the South Pole. The land on the other side of the South Pole there is larger than this U.S. beyond the South Pole is larger than the U.S. And there were minerals, uranium, and all sorts of resources that could be exploited. That's exactly what he said.
So
you know,
think
this
he
is
was
just a
talking
standard
about
flat Earth.
the
This
other
is just
side
the
of the South
standard.
Pole? Why would he frame it like that though? Beyond the South
Because
Pole.
it's accurate. Because it's accurate.
Well, you could say that about coming from any side. So if I'm on the other side of your globe and I go down to Antarctica and I go, that's on your side
Brandon,
of the South
he was
Pole.
very
Yeah, but they said
specific.
from Little America.
From Little America. That is exactly what he said. And had you bothered listening to the actual interview and the interview
What makes
and
you think
looking
I
at a
haven't listened to
map,
the
you'd
interview?
see.
Why are you trying to
Because
say
you
that I haven't listened to the interview?
because you obviously aren't making the connection and you didn't look at the map.
I didn't look at the map of Antarctica. I'm looking at it right now, and I have listened to the
Okay,
interview.
great.
So why are you
How much
acting like
how
I
much
haven't
land
looked
is
at any
on
of
the
this?
other side? How much land is on the other side of the South Pole from Little America? And compare that to the size of the continental US. Is it about the same?
I don't know.
Or larger?
I haven't done that
Okay,
comparison.
well, go ahead and do that and come back. You know, let me know what you find.
Bob, can you please not be so rude, especially to the person that's running this show, and give some respect to Brandon? Again, this is yesterday as well. Please? Thank you.
No, it's okay. But Bob, that's your interpretation of what he said, right? Now, I agree that you have to interpret his words because we don't have very many details to go on. But for you to sit there and say it's a fact that that is what he's talking about, you can't say that, can you?
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
because
okay.
that is exactly the context that he was using, and that's exactly what he said.
Mm. How come I listened to the same
Brian,
thing and
did
I
you
heard something different and interpreted it a different way?
Go ahead and look at it again.
Sorry?
Brian,
It might have been
Leaky,
Go ahead and have a look at it again.
I used to believe in the.
You can't know the
code
context
stuff
without
too until
specifically
I
asking him
started
yourself.
watching
You didn't
him
ask
for
him
years.
Guys, hold on one second.
You're just assuming
Hold on
the
one second.
context, correct?
Brian, you got a huge echo going. Leaky.
He's on. Oh, he's come back. All right. Well, I'm not
Pull
going to
up
argue with
the
you about
interview
this
and look.
because, as I said,
Pull up the interview and look at it.
It ain't me who's echoing, but what does he also says there's mountains not covered in snow. Okay, is that on the other side of Antarctica, Bobby?
Bobby? Bobby?
Yeah,
Bob, I want you to point to the
Bob,
map
we're looking for you
where
because
they
you
had
know,
to swim.
right? You know everything.
Where do you think they had to swim, Bob?
Bob.
Probably in the probably in the Southern Ocean. You ever swim in Lake Superior? You ever swim in Lake Superior? It's freaking cold. You can swim in cold water.
Oh
Are there
no,
any
it
hot
wasn't
springs?
cold. No.
Are there any hot springs there?
Did you see the video, Bob? Point me. Where do you see water there?
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
where do you think they were?
Hot springs?
I have no idea. I've never seen the video. But could you swim in Antarctica? I don't see why you could.
Well, that was news to me when I heard it. Antarctica, penguins, minus 80 below. You know, only creature lives above is polar bears and penguins. I don't know.
You ever
To
hear
me,
of
it
the
was
Polar
kind
Bear
of
Club?
funny.
You got people that jump into frozen lakes all the time. It's, you know, I mean, they
Yes,
do it for
Bob,
fun.
we're
It
not
might have been the
talking
same
about
thing.
that, Bob. We're not talking about
Might
they
have had
dug a hole in the water like they do in, I don't know, Finland.
Like in the
We're
Polar
not
Bear
talking
Club?
about that. We're
That was
talking a
actually a badge
whole
in Boy
body of
Scouts.
water,
That was a badge in
unfrozen.
Boy Scouts where you jumped in polarized water.
Hey, Bob was
anybody
there
know
at
who
Jose's when we watched
said-
9 Months of Darkness.
Does anybody know who said something about actually the water temperature and that people were wearing shorts and everything else? If you could go there and see it, it would be warm. You remember who said that?
It gets above 50 degrees in Antarctica.
No clue.
I watched a video. It's been years ago, and that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. So my only point, Bob, was
So it turns out there's a
interpretation-
place called
you come in here
Deception
telling us
Island.
that
Hey,
this
Brandon.
is the way it was based on your interpretation of what he says in the video. Now, the only reason I brought Admiral Byrd up is I find
Brandon.
a video and that whole event very odd. And then there's this stuff about Admiral Byrd and the
Brandon.
supposed what?
Okay, I found something. I was just started looking it up for you guys. I started looking around like, why would he be saying something? And then I found something. There's a place called Deception Island where there are hot springs in Antarctica.
Yeah.
where they
Deception
swim.
Island?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that mysterious? Isn't that mysterious? I was looking for something to match my name and I found it.
I was just looking at that on
Mysterious
screen.
Deception
actually.
Island.
An abandoned whaling station.
You know what the
called
biggest
Deception
point here
Island,
is, eh,
and
guys?
it is a little bit off the shore. It's not on Antarctica itself, but it is pretty damn close.
Brandon,
Pretty neat.
we're like missing the biggest point here. The biggest point here is, and Bob said it himself, the minerals, the uranium, the riches that are there. Now, knowing how man will fight for a hill and thousands of people will fight for an oil well, how come nobody's there?
Oh, because of the treaty, I guess they would say that the treaty.
And now you
they
understand why the
they
treaty
all got
was put
together
in.
and for once decided not to be greedy schmucks
Yeah.
like we have been in the rest
It's
of our
proof.
history.
It's just proof that they actually all. You know what it is? Montreal, to me, it's proof that they're all already owned by one central hub, and they pretend to be all separate teams for the sake of
They're all
us.
in on it.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Brian.
Grim. You the man, exactly.
Brian, you got a huge echo, bro.
Hey, earlier when you said that, I was really muted, and you said it like
I know,
2 or
I
3
muted.
times.
I muted you because you were echoing.
No, he said it
But
once.
hey,
It just
everybody's seen the
echoed.
video where I'll fix my mic, but everybody's seen the video where Richard Byrd said that he's gonna hunker down alone for the 9 months of darkness.
No, but what's
This
your
is
point?
why I'm like, Brandon, I have a hard time believing any of this. It seems a little fishy that they'd even let this on TV. Tell us about it, right? Focus on it. But in reality, yeah, that could be happening. But what if it's something totally different because they want this conspiracy and all of us to be over here, shiny object, there's more resources. But what if there isn't more resources and maybe more land and all this other stuff? But there's actually what? They may take people there. The people that have died, it's totally just, disappear celebrities, everything. We don't know what's going on there. So to say that we, because Animal Bird said something on TV and let it all out, sounds a little fishy.
Yep.
Some say they found tech there. That the Germans were there before, right? The Nazis. So some say they found tech.
Yeah, there's
Some
lots of
say they
stories like
found-
that. I don't know what to believe about any of that stuff.
Look, I'm just
I mean,
throwing
it
it out
makes
there.
sense.
I'm not saying I believe it.
Essie, it does make sense though, because if humans were advanced at one point in the past, I mean, that's where we would go. If there's an edge or something, we would go to the edge and try to figure it out.
What was he talking about in reference to the 90 days of darkness? Do you know?
No idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've
Do you
never
have
seen anything.
Do you have a citation for it, or was it just what Brian was saying?
Yeah, I never heard that before either.
No, a friend of mine believes that.
And then they give every day a strike the next day.
Oh, Brian, you're.
My friend believes that Antarctica can all just be a delusion and an illusion for us to focus on, and maybe the North Pole is where we need to be looking at. But they have us all focused on Antarctica. I don't know. There could be many, many things that we can go down in theories.
I literally was just saying that with my mic muted. It was hilarious. That was great.
Really?
I was like, why? Yeah,
What's
yeah.
up, Greg?
I was like, well, everybody wants to point at the South Pole, but what about that weird anomalous storm always on the North Pole? And that's where they found that what they call a plasma hurricane, where it rained electrons with above the atmosphere for a very long time. Yeah. This is brand new shit. Well, it's not brand new, but they've been studying it since 2014, and they decided that this year to finally talk about it. And it's a plasma hurricane that's, they found it rains electrons. It's literally just part of the Earth Sun fucking system that we've been talking about for decades. But these motherfuckers are just like finally letting it bonk them in the head.
That's too bad it's not raining diamonds like Jupiter. You could have used them.
Please. Is it really?
Jeremy, they must need us, Jeremy, because if not, they could send half of us north and and send half of us south. And bam, we're gone, man. If we don't find nothing or whatever, bam, it wouldn't cost a few million each direction, right? We're gone. They must need us for something, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, all we need to do is circumnavigate. All we need to do is circumnavigate north-south one time, and it's a wrap.
Oh, exactly, but nobody's done it.
Or just go in one direction until you hit the end, right?
Didn't they
If
try
they want
to
to
do
prove all their
that?
claims, I've got 20 demonstrations I'd like to see written down on paper, and anytime you want to hear them, that is one of them. And I'll tell you exactly from where to where. Not exactly, but Yeah, there's 20 demonstrations. They claim that reality, and so I got a written down 20 demonstrations of pretty much to narrow down their claim.
Rocky,
I mean, some little
sometimes when you're
girl did
talking,
it.
I feel
Some
like
little girl claims. My bad. Go ahead, Grim.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say something, light spirited. It sounds like he's
Some-
rolling down the hill in a tire when he's talking to us sometimes.
Oh my god.
Some little girl
Brandon.
claims to have.
It's bad, man.
Some little girl
Brandon-
claims to have. Go ahead.
Yeah, do that thing with your
Brandon,
mic,
I
Brian,
put-
that you do sometimes. You sound a lot better when you do that.
Brandon, I put all the information in general chat. You can see the layout of the United States on the South Pole. You can see the location of Little America, the South Pole itself. And there's also a copy of the video there. And if you go to 145, he very clearly states what he's talking about, just to help you out.
Listen, guys.
But
Some
then you
little
have to
girl
take his
claims
word
to have.
for it.
Some little girl claims to have done this on skis crossing Antarctica. So I mean, this shouldn't be too hard for us.
Some little girl did it.
Girl Scouts can do it.
That's like it took
In
a
some-
12-year-old girl, Jeremy, to find out that all of the U.S. presidents are related to John Lachlan Plantagenet.
Some some
one
little girl
12-year-old
crossed
girl
the
to do
most
that, too.
devastating. Some little girl crossed the most devastating terrain on Earth, and it should be easy peasy for us. So let's get this done.
They always use a little girl, don't they? Some 12-year-old Greta.
It's almost like they play off people's emotions. Huh.
Yeah, almost exactly
dare
like
you.
that. How dare you?
Can't wait back to play the
Stacey.
child
That
card.
was great.
Almost. Do you guys know how many companies own the news stations in America?
Almost
It was a very
one.
small percentage.
Almost
Yeah,
one.
very small. Yeah,
I think there's 3 last time I checked.
very
close
small
to
number
one.
of companies own 99% or 97% or something of them. Yeah.
Yeah, all the
But are you
legit
trying to say
ones.
something, honey?
No, I'm just mumbling in the background. You're fine, babe.
Did you know how many of them also fund the alternative news that we listen to?
Oh yeah, good point.
Boom.
Just listen to
You
the
think you're
headline
getting the
news
you
on
think you're getting
every
the real
station.
truth from a lot of these alternative news guys, and they're really telling you it's a Hegel's dialectic. They're throwing you in from one side of a dichotomy into the other side of the dichotomy, never letting you even think outside of that entire dichotomy at all.
I feel like they did this with church, with religion and the government.
Because here comes
That's why you have a lot of these religious people starting up this heliocentric nonsense. They're like, well, we'll get them either way,
Oh yeah, that's what happened to me when I first started questioning the mainstream. Is I looked for alternative sources. I don't look at any of those sources anymore because they turned out to be just like gatekeeping, second layer bullshit.
Look out for those disclosure guys too. The government's finally going to disclose the aliens. Oh come on, guys, you're so noob.
They're ramping that up right now too. This big release that's supposed to be on June 30th. I'm not holding my breath. They got
see what I mean?
senators and congressmen hitting at what's in there and talking about these releasing
Right,
Navy
pay attention
videos.
to the red herring.
Come on,
literally.
Brandon was at the fence on Area 51 that day when they were ready to rush it.
Oh shit, that what a joke.
Uh,
It was pretty funny though.
It's a lot of the globetards believe that shit though.
About aliens?
About the aliens, yeah. A lot of the ones that really are all, they secretly believe it. You know what I mean? They want it to be that it's, it's not that they're ruling their whatever, but they want it to be that these, we're either them or, you know what I mean?
They want Star
It's
Trek.
freaking weird.
People.
They laugh at us, but they want to be Captain Kirk one day.
Yeah,
I
Chris said
know.
it before the show. They're all trying to bang an alien, and they don't want their dreams crushed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's really what their fantasy boils down to. You saw the green chicks, the Orions, when they watched Star Trek, and now that they're old men, and they're like, "What happened? Where's the Orions?" We were all told that space was real, and boldly explore new places and find people that were there. And
Meanwhile,
I have
their
a problem
motto
believing
isn't.
space is real. I have a problem believing that any alien intelligent life form will come to a place that still uses a PCR test to diagnose for disease.
Meanwhile, their motto isn't space.
It
feeds
Meanwhile,
into
their
that
motto
narrative.
isn't.
Sorry.
yeah, you guys, if you watch
Quick.
Pandemic,
Hold on, real quick.
Oh, sorry, go
Meanwhile,
ahead,
their
David.
motto. Meanwhile, their motto isn't space the final frontier, it's the moon the final frontier. Go ahead, Jedi.
Well, it feeds into
Right.
our narrative, right? Because we've got loads of like ancient structures around that they like to point out that how the hell they were built, and they like to have the gods from the sky. If we talk about, you know, Sumerians and so on, we've always pointed at the lights in the sky and wondered what they were. So now it's okay because there's extra life out there, and it always feeds into this narrative that's against God, because we can always say that the aliens created us. So that's part of the narrative, right? We look up at the sky and there are our creators. That's pretty much the narrative that we have today, yeah? It's not hard to think
Isn't
that.
it funny though? Jedi, we were just talking about this today. Literally, he asked me, what is the biggest conspiracy besides probably flat earth to you? And I was thinking deep down, well, probably 9/11, but that's the conspiracy for us as awake people. But the whole world, if you take that into account, what is the biggest conspiracy you could think of? Yeah, aliens. And I didn't think about that, but Jedi had to remind me because I haven't thought about aliens in years.
Yeah,
I would say keeping people in a class system. Like,
yeah,
that
and
ain't
I wouldn't
an
assume
alien.
that I wouldn't assume that all of us would think that there's actually a creating, like an alien had to create us, like an abiotic genesis of organic life. You know what I mean? We do have abiotic genesis of, like, you know, organic materials and even like, you know, protein.
You're on the wrong channel for that, bro. We're not even religious. That's just fucking retarded shit, bro.
Well,
No, I'm
this
not
just
religious
helps
either, dude,
people
at
throw
all.
out
So
the
that's not
narrative that
that's not what I'm
involves
talking
God.
about.
And I understand exactly what you're saying, right? But what I'm saying is for people to throw out the narrative of the necessary antecedent of a creator, they just throw the creator up into the sky, and then it becomes an infinite regression fallacy, right? Who created the aliens?
Right. Some people will do that. I agree. Yeah.
So
For sure.
this is what I mean by it helps their narrative, takes them away from the obvious, as I understand it, the reason why they lie about the shape of the earth, because it's obviously a created environment and didn't come from nothing. But the place that is nothing, space, there's lots of life up there, right? And this is where we came from, because we're all one big universal family. We don't know how life came around, but our life probably came from up there. Panspermia.
If I know my own self, I know everybody here has got a little bit of a connection to a creator. I mean, if I know my own fucking self, I know that everybody's got a little taste of reality there, you know. I'm not real religious. I'm not. But in my opinion, it'd take a fool to not see that a creation was created.
He said Nazi.
Yeah. But what it does is
it
it takes the personal away from it, because we're just pushing it back to where it doesn't become anything of our lives. Yeah, if we want to believe the story that we're on a ball and our life came from some panspermia idea, or some aliens coming around and fucking around with monkeys and helping our DNA, yeah, we can believe that all day long. That's fine, but it removes God. It removes that personal thing, which I personally believe is one of the reasons why they're lying about reality in its entirety.
Like, listen, if I was a god, right? Just imagine, like, for a second, 1 second, like you couldn't imagine that a god couldn't find a way to do a thing through like electrical shit. I'm just saying, like, it could be that, you know, not everybody's wrong and all of that, but there is stuff in a laboratory that you can show that, you know, you can start creating amino acids just out of different rocks and with electrical current and shit like this. So I mean, with enough of that going on in long enough time, you know, which it wouldn't even be as long as it would be with the standard narrative of nonsense, there wouldn't be the need for panspermia or anything like that. It would just be spontaneous abiotic genesis on each individual area that has the correct amount of environment and electrical current.
I don't go for that, Grim, bro. Seriously, I don't go for that. I can't see how life can just spontaneous. Yeah. I just can't see that, and I'm not a.
Well, not so much spontaneous without electricity, you'd be dead, right? Like right now, you wouldn't feel anything. Your heart wouldn't beat.
Yeah, but we're
anything.
coded.
Yeah, but instantly, you wouldn't have a thought left. There wouldn't be any thoughts. There would be nothing, because it's all electrical signals that you have going on through your body that keep all your cells interacting with each other. Right.
Yeah, the origin of God was called El, bro.
Wait a minute. It's the electricity that's doing those things and allowing for that. Look, why couldn't it be the electricity that actually is the life itself and is what is giving this material an actual animated form?
Maybe the creator used electricity. Yeah, I could buy
exactly.
that.
That's what I'm trying to say. That would be what I'm trying to say. So if there was one, or even if there wasn't one, either way, it could be just a simple set of rules repeated.
No.
Just go somewhere else with that, bro.
There's no way.
Come on, man. Please go somewhere else.
Could have created something.
You guys don't.
Why
have
is he
to yell,
talking to me
though.
like that? Why is that guy
I'm
talking to me
just-
like that?
y-
Does he know who
yeah,
I am?
I'm being nice. I'm
Okay.
asking you, please go somewhere else with that argument. I'm asking nicely.
Elijah,
No, let him talk, bro. Come on, it's Grim. Grim is a cool dude. Well, come
I'm a
on.
nice guy, dude. I'm in here with you guys.
Yeah, he's all right saying
Everybody
his
calm
opinion.
down.
I
We all
defend
have our
alternative
Elijah,
cosmologies
hold
all
on,
day.
Elijah.
right.
Your mic's
And
really
I've been
low.
doing it for about 7 years before a lot of you guys, before Discord
Hold
was
on a
even
second.
developed.
Elijah's trying to get in. Hold on.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to speak your opinion, bro.
Yeah, just hold on a second.
Thanks, brother.
Somebody's trying to
I'm
get
done.
in.
Yeah, all I was saying is someone would have had to create the environment for everything you're talking about. Like something would have had to, like the rules you just mentioned, whatever they are, they would have to be put in place by a creator. Like rules don't just randomly pop into existence, right?
And we can call those rules laws, right? And we can call
Not
those
only
rules
that,
laws of nature.
information. You can have all the substances around, right? Which of course they had to come from somewhere, but you can have all the parts of the plane on a runway, right? If you don't have the information, the blueprint, how are you going to put that thing together?
You're not.
You need information, and for information, you need a creator. It's very simple.
You need three things to have code. Three things must always be in place for you to do this. Right? You must have the intelligence to come up with the idea of what's actually going to happen, right? Then you must have the language. Right? That language must be understood by the sender, the intelligence, and the receiver, which must already be in place. The receiver must receive that information and then do something with it. Right? Those
Somebody
three
watch.
things must be in place.
Somebody
Right?
watch
Yes,
Kiwi's
sir.
video on information. Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
Oh, QE breaks it down very nicely.
The things he does on information is great.
Brandon, can I bring up something about aliens?
Sure.
Okay, I just wanted to get into a small semantic point. If you break down the word extraterrestrial, which is like another word we use for aliens, okay, extra terra or extra land. So, we're given this story about how them coming from outer space, but if they're, extraterrestrials, that just means they come from extra land, extra terra, that maybe we don't know about. So if there is land out there, wherever it may be, whatever map you want to use, if there's just any land out there that we don't know about, they could come from the extra terra, hence extraterrestrial. So alien.
My bad.
So
I
think
still believe in
aliens.
aliens.
I think aliens or extraterrestrials don't come from outer space. They would come from either inner Earth or another land that we don't know about and come back and forth.
I understand what you mean by the use of the word extraterrestrial, but has anybody noticed that they've changed the narrative slightly to extra dimensional? Now, I'm
Yeah,
not
there we
taking
go.
anything away from what you've just said, and I could possibly go with the narrative that, yeah, they come from an extra place. Now, I'm wondering whether that place is actually physical. We're pointing out to extraterrestrial, so extra land. But I've changed the narrative a little bit, extra dimensional, right? So maybe, yeah, there are things here, but they're not quite here, extra dimensionally. I don't know. It's just interesting the words that they use.
Yeah,
Terra
I find
can
that
mean
interesting
land,
too.
and it could
I
mean
don't
Earth.
disagree.
That's
But those extra
100%.
dimensions and stuff are their ideas because right now I think we just believe in the three, dimensions, not 4 and 5 and extras and the mathematical mathemagics because that's what that really ends up being. It falls right in line with their 11 dimensions and their multiverses and their black holes and big bangs.
I know
Terra
this is
also
a
means
bit of
Earth.
a change. Sorry,
Yeah,
mate, carry on.
And for me, the biggest thing of this is that you see people, like people in power, act in a complete disregard for anything decent or basic common understanding of morality. A complete disregard for human life. Like, how could that person be a human and completely disregard human life like they do? Because they're not human. There's something else.
Well, I get you.
Well,
but
it's actually very
that's a
human
bit
to
of a jump for me to say that they're now not human to treat people inhumanely. Well, you just got to look
Right.
at the world and people treat people inhumanely all the time. I mean, what do you want to point at? So they don't necessarily have to be not human to do inhuman things. It can be human, right?
Yeah, but you're talking
Yeah, a
about
lot
at
of
this
times
scale.
these people think they're probably doing something for the greater good of all. Like they've been sold this story that like if you do this thing, you know what I mean, and play your part, then you're gonna save humanity from a great catastrophe or some other shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they think that they're doing this out of being evil.
Yeah, could you imagine how they approached Neil and said, "Hey, listen, Neil, you know, we know you're a huge patriot. We need you to do this thing for us. You're gonna have to lie to everyone you know, but you know, you're gonna be helping everyone. So, and overall, it's gonna be
Helping
good
your
for
country.
America."
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
to pull the
for
patriot
national
card on them or
security.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
guys,
my
can you hear
current
me?
world. We hear you.
All right, yeah,
Heard one.
Discord wasn't working earlier. Can I insert an idea?
What's up,
Have you ever
Arlen?
considered like all the legends and stories handed down family to family about wishing on stars and how it's supposed to be correlating somehow magically with wishes coming true? So what if basically this concept there's something behind it, something very ancient, and the elites, the programmers have bent its concept to their design to make us wish on that star in accordance to their vision. So maybe they're just actually making us dependent on a certain type of vision, on a certain type of world vision, and then tricking us into
Yeah.
wishing something
I get you.
to
Sorry, Owen.
summon
Yeah,
something into our physical
Right?
reality.
Like
I
hope
get
and
you.
wish.
So
I think
if you
hope is the
take
most negative word in the metaphysical. Go ahead.
Sorry, Owen. If you take right, because you just said wish, right, and change the word wish for prayer because you're talking about your intent. Now you can pray to God or you can pray to a
Right.
star.
But it's
In
specifically
ancient,
to the stars. Specifically.
yes, that's where I'm going. So ancient culture, right? The stars were gods. If we look at the Sumerians, for example, this is the gods came down from the sky. Now, if we look at Sirius, that's one that gets commonly pointed out, the dog star, right? This is supposed to be something. So yeah. If we want to change the word prayer for wish, but have our intent towards star, then if those stars are not, physical things and they are whatever, and there is something behind your intent when you wish or you pray, and you do that towards a deity, oh yeah, go on. That's a good idea, I guess. Maybe not too far away from something.
That ain't
I'm
my
just
thoughts.
saying
My thoughts are if
just
we got
this
half a brain, we'll put
legend.
our shit together and get the fuck out of here because shit resets every few hundred fucking years to my math, or at least 400 years. Shit keeps resetting. There ain't gonna be no metal left over or machines. Metal rusts faster than any fucking thing, dude. If we got our shit together, it would get the fuck out of here for the next reset. We'll be somewhere else and safe.
That's what I've never understood about NASA and the government and these space agencies. Like, wouldn't you want to get us out of here in case the asteroid comes that killed the dinosaurs or virus? Like, wouldn't you want to have us on other planets so that humanity doesn't get wiped out in one fell swoop?
Yeah, that's why they're putting all our
not-
sperm on the moon, dude. Remember?
Don't. Yeah, I know that's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Well, I have
Right where we can all get it when
question
we really
about-
need it.
Yeah, break glass in case of emergency. All you gotta do is go to the moon.
We need a
Boom.
sperm bank on the moon. I totally agree.
Well, I have a question. I guess it's about the first law of thermodynamics, because everybody always talks about the second law of thermodynamics, right? But if we're to believe the creation story, the Big Bang, right? Then everything that explodes into nothingness is unimpeded, right? So every molecule, every particle is moving into a space that's not occupied, so it isn't losing energy. So isn't it that gravity is the justification for the violation of the first law if we come from the
Yeah.
Big Bang? The
Yes.
Earth itself, the sun itself, everything that's coalesced against that outward vector from that beginning point would be a violation of the first law, right? Or am
The
I
stuff
tripping?
itself is the violation. Where'd the stuff come from?
There's infinite.
It's the creation
there's
of the
infinite
stuff.
volume.
So that's
It's
why
not-
the
Yeah,
creator comes in
the
order
stuff
not to
itself.
violate the law in this realm, right? That's why we say a creator. You have to be outside this physical realm. So these laws do not apply to the creator. Get it?
No, in an infinite volume, where
they
does the
compress all that liquid?
material decide to settle and come to a rest in order to form the particulates that we know as solids and liquids?
Right. So it's if you beg the
does
question of
that point settle in the infinite vacuum? Where does it decide to basically halt?
There's no real answer.
Dude, as soon as we call oxygen and fucking hydrogen shit, we can't even see. You can't even see oxygen, it's bouncing around. As soon as we can see that it's bouncing around and we can't even see it, then we're fucked.
It's just think of them like
about
bouncy balls.
space and how it has pressure, right? But that's the thing. They say, you know, it's within our universe, within our system. If you think of the universe as the system,
long as you got shit bouncing around, you got a void.
They say there's pressure, but then like from where? Because everything is exploding into a perfect vacuum. A privation is literally nothingness. If all of creation started from that point and exploded outward.
Yeah, but you're thinking in their la la land, bro. You understand?
But
even in their
what I'm saying, we
already
already talk about the second law of thermodynamics and how space is a violation. Well, our existence itself is a violation if they're going to say things are balls and everything roaming around, expanding in the vacuum of space.
Well, if you doubt a creator, you're onto a first law of thermodynamics violation. Once the creator.
Let me ask everybody a question real quick.
Exactly my
Let me ask
point,
everybody a question.
I literally just had this debate with him in gym. My bad, Brian. Go ahead.
What state of matter do y'all call the when you break the sound barrier and you see that ripple? And what state of matter would y'all call that?
That's just gas.
The sonic boom.
You'd call it gas. Okay, well they would say up there by the ISS it's a vacuum, but anybody watch the SpaceX? It's I got a couple videos on my channel, and you get the same damn ripples up there where they say there ain't nothing. Same ripples, if not even more. And it's like, dude, everything they say contradicts itself, man. We argue about the second law of thermodynamics just to get them to shit on that and the first law, like Phil did yesterday. He shitted on the first law. He said, I mean, we all know that we all seen that if stuff expands into a vacuum, then there's no change in energy, but they still have an infinite void up there. Phil said that shit stops up there, the balloon stops or whatever because it can't go no higher. Then he said that air expands into infinity. I mean, they constantly just step on their own tongue. They don't even realize it. It's insanity.
Question about what you just said about the sonic boom. Well, what altitude are you seeing the sonic boom? There should only be one. That's when it breaches the first sound barrier at 756 or something miles an hour. I checked into this. Now, usually, because of the speed that they're going, they're usually in the Earth's atmosphere when they breach that first sonic boom zone. So you would only see the sonic boom in the Earth's atmosphere. There's nothing wrong with that.
I would claim that's the point of we don't know. That'd be my claim. You know, a band of just ripples that. But I mean, to say oxygen's molecule, you know, that's stepping in the science works and everything. I don't see no reason not to go along with it. But when you start elaborating on it and saying it's bouncing around and shit you can't even see to begin with, you know, look at the heat waves that always are existing out there in the distance, man. It's just food for thought, man. You know,
listen. All you have to do is think of gas like bouncy balls. Come on, guys.
Fuck off.
Eventually, if you also
Arwen, I was
gas, the gas comes back on itself. We've all seen that, yeah? Because there's a lot of gas, a lot of mass. The mass, because it attracts mass, the gas attracts gas. And the gas comes back on itself. We've all seen that happen, haven't we? Gas coming back on itself.
Shout out to Brian's logic, guys. Shout out to Brian's logic. It took him about 18 circles to get Nathan and QE, and I love y'all both, don't get me wrong, but it took them 18 circles to finally get him to admit they were arguing for him the whole damn time, talking about the balloon stretching and all that. If anybody hadn't checked out the episode, check out today's episode. It was a great one, man, and it was peaceful.
But what was his overall point though? Like that's actually the question. Where was the disagreement that he was trying to draw?
Watch it for yourself. I mean, I agree with him the whole time. It doesn't disagree with anything they said. They just couldn't get out of the fact.
Bro.
I know you was, but they couldn't. Look,
that's why I'm at. If you saw what I saw, then you explain it.
He was
Yeah,
using the
well, he
fallacy.
was trying to argue that density is not pressure. I think he was ultimately trying to get to refraction because they say density and shit curves down to make it look higher. But in reality, pressure is not density.
Well, you're
No, he
already
never got
wrong
to that
because he
point. But I
was
think
saying,
that's where he was going.
I hear you. You don't have to yell over me, bro. So he was saying, how is it not density? How doesn't the density change? And they were saying it doesn't change. Like if you have molecules in a balloon, right? And you heat them up, then they're going to have stronger collisions because they have more energy. But the amount of molecules are the same.
Yeah, it's not more dense.
It was
only
my
thing
point
that's
is it was a great
increasing-
show, guys. It was a great show. I recommend everybody
All
watch
right,
it, man. They all wind up agreeing in
It
the
was
end.
a good show. It was a good show, though. Yeah.
Today's
Brian's logic used the fallacy of division.
What fallacy? How's that fallacy go? What's the fallacy of
It's
division?
like, I think it's the one where you think of gas as bouncy balls. Where you say gas is matter, so matter does this, so gas must do this.
No.
Is that it?
I think the fallacy of division in that case. I think because this is the first time I heard the fallacy of
We're
division,
hearing
but
a
I think
horn
it was
behind
that.
someone.
Somebody got a hot mic.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm almost done. So what I guess they were saying by saying he's using the fallacy of division was thinking about the gas in one aspect when there are three fundamental parts to it.
Okay. Are you riding a
Yeah, it's when you
motorcycle or
say
what?
gas is. It's when you say gas is matter, and matter does this, so gas must do this. I think.
Here, let me read the
sure on that.
definition that I found. A fallacy of division is an informal fallacy that occurs when one reasons that something that is true for a whole must also be true of all or some of its parts. An example, the second grade in Jefferson Elementary eats a lot of ice cream. Carlos is a second grader in Jefferson Elementary. Therefore, Carlos eats a lot of ice cream. So it could be that he's not part of the ones within the elementary that eat a lot of ice cream. He doesn't eat ice cream at all, but the average is higher.
They do this to us
Well,
all the time with gas. They say gas is.
Sorry, he was saying that when you apply, when you, in the case of how things react to temperature, solids, liquids, and gases all react the same way. That's what it was.
Yeah.
No, you heard what I said. How gases expand. Listen, man. Hey, can you mute your mic real quick, Elijah? So I don't have to yell.
Yeah, but what are you about to respond to what I just said? Because I'm only detailing what actually happened.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting out there, man. It's like the way an air conditioner works and the way we see the bromine expand into a vacuum. There's no energy change. Shit doesn't get cold from pressure evacuating into a vacuum. Okay, there's no energy change. That means there's no pressure change. There's no except entropy, right? There's no temperature change. They say energy, just call it what it is, fucking temperature or energy. You know, they try and hide it, and people are catching on that there can't be a vacuum up there because there'd be no it wouldn't be cold up there. There'd be no change in energy. And Phil Bell stomped on his own teeth. And there's a couple videos will be coming out, me and another person pointing it out just from the professor saying there's only a change in entropy, not energy. So there's got to be a container to stop the gas from gradiating out.
Yeah, there has to be a container, but there is probably temperature influences. There is probably a cold element up there at the barrier, there is a heating influence down here on Earth.
So I guess the argument was there isn't a change in density, as in there aren't less. Well, yeah, I guess I am kind of because the temperature is lower there. Oh, well, actually, because the production of gas is, at the ground level, not up there. There are less collisions up there, but also equally, it's not as hot. The temperature is not as, I don't know.
Yeah. And when it
Well,
gets
Spurs
cold,
and
gas
Diamond Dallas
retracts.
had it right the whole time. I hate to admit, they just didn't argue it correctly.
So when gas gets cold, it basically retracts. It shrinks up, causing it to exert less pressure.
Or not. I
Right,
guess
but it's still there,
I
right?
guess the
Exactly, but it's
argument
still
is
there.
not. Yeah, because it's just that I guess there's less
That's
energy,
just gas
lower less
attracting
heat energy. I
gas.
don't. No, it's not gas attracting gas. Is that in the specified volume, it's having uh, weaker collisions or less collisions, resulting in less pressure. It's not that it's not there. It's not that it's contracting on itself. It's that it's having less collisions.
Right, it's
There's
still
less
filling the
energy in the
volume.
system.
It's just shrunk. It shrunk up. It really is. It's just it retracts. It's gets smaller. It's still filling up the space though.
That's what she said.
So less pressure.
Yeah, there's less
That's
energy
what
in the
she
system.
said. No.
That's why QE had him define PV equals nRT. Is it right? That's what it is. PV
I just want
equals
to I just
nRT.
want to point out they do
Yeah,
that
PV equals
this
NRT. The
fallacy of
pressure.
division on us all the time. Brian, hold
Everything
on.
QE said was right. You know, I'm not saying he was wrong. They just weren't on the same page, and I think we got to graduate from this bouncy ball bullshit, which I think we're all doing. They call it elastic collisions. It's elastic, period. The air stretches, man. There's not no one molecule left in a fucking vacuum chamber that you're lucky to catch. The air expands, period. It's still there. It just shrinks according to gas law. You know, I don't think anybody would argue that. The gas laws work. It's just that they're interpreting it wrong. I think we're all figuring that out.
Well, maybe we could just state that gas, when colder, exerts less pressure. It still fills up the volume. It exerts less pressure. Right? That explains a lot about the conditions here in the realm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still up there. And then and at a certain point, though, what I think they're hiding is it changes states of matter. And they've even come out with what happens to some of these gases when they get that cold. They change complete states of matter, and that's where we're at in science. That's not where Bob and Chaiki and freaking and Simon Dan are at, but that's where science is at. You know, and they need to catch up with us, man.
You mean the presumed plasmic pools up there and all that? It's still kind of mysterious what's supposed to be up there.
Yeah, and like the superconductors and superfluid.
I would take it all with a grain of salt. You know, there's a lot of mysterious stories coming out of there. Very little empirical data about it, really. So, you know.
What if you could get condensation straight off the dome, or the whatever you think is the container?
Hey, Professor
Jimbo's
Phil.
got a good point. Yeah, pressure could stop where the moisture stopped.
The only reason I'm saying that is because, so something that I thought was maybe odd was that during rain, what is it, sun showers, when there are no clouds overhead, the explanation was the water could be pushed by wind to an area that that doesn't have clouds, and then it rains on you. Well, I mean, wouldn't the cloud just head to that area, seeing as that the cloud would be less dense than the water molecule itself? Wouldn't the wind push the cloud overhead to then rain over you? But that's not what they say. They say that the wind moves the water from wherever a cloud is, and then it rains above you. And it could be a totally non-breezy day. And I know that there are different crosswinds the higher up you go. But like I said, if it was the wind carrying the water, why wouldn't it carry the cloud too? I don't know.
Could
I'm
be.
just
I mean,
just
the
saying.
closest I've seen to that is like a mega cryo meteor out of the sky. You'll see this big chunk of ice just fall down. You know, maybe that's a chunk of ice off the dome. Maybe, who knows?
Besides that, would anybody argue that your AC, your air conditioner, compressing that air and blowing it out into an open area, our room, but with that's contained, our room is contained pretty much, would produce would be a change in energy. The air would be cold, but into a vacuum, if it was going into a vacuum, there would be no change in energy. According to gas law, there'd just be a change in entropy. So if it was a vacuum up there, and shout out to Paige, because she at best Bill proved that the energy would change to liquid, and if he's right, then there's waters above. So shout out to Paige.
Mike,
Professor Phil really exposed this yesterday when he was talking about what happens to gas as it loses energy.
Absolutely.
He said it turns into a liquid and then to a solid. You're like, welcome to flat Earth. There's your dome.
Yeah, but the thing you're talking about that this is not, you're talking about your causes being what? Because of cold, because of temperature, not because of gravity and other things.
Just out of curiosity right now, what's the consensus? Yeah, you're good. Just out of curiosity real quick, what's the consensus from flat earthers in general, like our group right now, on whether gas has a charge?
Gas has a charge? I guess there are electrical gas clouds, but what are you trying to say about electrical gas?
Science right now says it doesn't have a charge, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. I mean, I would stick with the science.
Would act when it just
charge.
Neutral charge.
If it has a charge,
also.
It would ignite itself.
well, if gas has a charge and the
not
Earth
true.
is obviously a weak electromagnetic force, then wouldn't it, not expand in all directions equally?
Yeah, I think Jimbo's got it right, man. It's the water, it's the moisture and the water vapor in the air that charges everything and causes all the pressure. I think Jimbo is been right the whole fucking time, in my opinion. And also Dallas. Shout out to Dallas. I don't even know them, but they seem to be right. Putting two and two together on all this shit that I read, they seem to have been right the whole time.
Yes, Steve
Yeah,
nails it too.
Brandon?
So you think the gas would expand
What's up,
until it reaches a charge equilibrium or something, or what?
Thanks for having me, man.
Okay, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Okay.
So you think the gas would expand until it reaches a charge equilibrium, or what?
I think that question was for Brian. Is that right, Lennon?
Yeah.
I'm not, I have no idea, man. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, we can't squeeze hydrogen. Sorry to change the subject, but they can't compress oxygen and hydrogen into water. They claim that it's hydrogen and water, but I sit there and split it up the other day, and I had my hydrogen coming off off the cathode and the oxygen coming off the anode, and they were both the exact same gas. I will say that. So I don't think they know everything they claim they know.
Yeah, I definitely think the whole concept of gas is perverted in our sciences.
I'm a little confused on the charge. Like, what do you mean inside the molecule? And if that's the case, what's the purpose?
If you have some AC going through your electrodes, you're going to wind up with both oxygen and hydrogen on your electrodes.
On the anode and the cathode, Jimbo, would you agree to that?
Yep. If you have an alternating current.
I agree. See, he knows what he's talking about because I just did it, and that's what happened.
But aren't you the one that put the charge to it?
Yeah, and I'm not saying I couldn't have did it wrong. I just had like a cut-off 2-liter bottle over each one, and the bubbles were coming up in each separate 2-liter, but they both were lighter than air, and they both went boom, boom.
Well, I'm just wondering, how do you determine there's a charge in gas when your experiment puts the charge to the gas?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I don't think there's a charge in gas, but I wouldn't bet nothing against it. But personally, I don't think that gas is charged. I'm not saying it can't be charged, but I'm not to that point yet personally. But that's what the science says, is that it's not charged, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I found too, is that it says it's not, because then it can expand equally in all directions. But I don't know. I'm beginning to think
Well, if it can be made of elemental ions like fluorine ions or whatever, by extension, if the fluorine ions are charged, you'd think that the gas would be charged too, but who knows? Like with fluorine gas made of fluorine ions that are, charged or whatever, but I don't know.
Whatever's going on.
I mean, all
with
these
gas,
laws are
it's
just
obvious that it's not.
all these laws are just them taking a constant, like the C and TV. I mean, the N is the fucking is the gas constant, like, and then in gravity it's like they have 10 times 6 to the negative 18th or whatever the hell it is, and then Coulomb's law. They're just constants, and the radiation, the black body radiation shit. They admitted to just guessing it and crunching the numbers until it worked. It's just a number to explain what they see. Once another variable comes into play, like once you start going up and higher in the atmosphere, they have a whole nother gas law. It's just theories, It's just they don't know everything. I think we figured that out.
Brian, can you fix that echo, bro?
Yeah, anytime I see
Yep.
Yeah, anytime I see an equation that has a constant in it, it's almost like a fudge factor. It's like, yeah, they probably didn't quite get that right. So
Every
that's how
equation is controlled by constants. You're working to keep constants for proportionality. It don't matter if it's electrical and Ohm's law. You're working with constants of proportionality. End of story.
They could name what the variables
Correct, it
are,
works,
or
I don't doubt it.
misassign
Ohm's
them
law,
to
it
a
works.
particular variable, the values. That's
Or
what,
not give them any valuable. Look, when we say E equals MC squared, what the hell is E? How come no one can answer that?
Yeah, they might as well just say energy equals mass times 10. You know what
E
I'm saying?
is
Squared.
depending on the energy you need, electron volts, and the number of electron volts generated by the so-called splitting of the atom.
Exactly. Anytime you
So
see a constant in equation, they're not telling you the whole story. You got to
it's
figure it out
supposed
yourself.
to yield 200,000 volts DC per split atom. So you're looking at electron volts when you're generating nuclear power for, well, the nuclear power plant. But then they'll throw in other thermal units for when they're using it for other things. Joules, whatever. It's nonsense.
I just want to point out they do that fallacy of division on us all the time with gas, because they'll say gas is matter and matter does this, so gas must do this, just like the kid eating the ice cream. Maybe that kid doesn't eat ice cream like the rest of the class does.
yeah, good point. What particularly
I agree.
do they assign to gas where they're using that fallacy? What properties?
Gas is matter. Matter attracts matter, and therefore gas attracts matter.
Can we see these bouncy gas balls under a microscope? I mean, is there like
No, you can't, man. I never have. But and the point is like Ohm's law, that stuff. It works, man. It works. I'm not knocking it. I understand why they say science is the way it is but as soon as you start introducing unknown variables, as soon as things change, you introduce one unknown variable, and then the whole equation needs to be updated. So I understand why they are doing things the way they are for technology. But when it comes to the space, when they start applying that shit to outer space and Mars helicopters and shit, we got to speak out and call that bullshit out.
They'll say that the gas is the kid that doesn't eat the ice cream, or I'm sorry, they'll say that matter is the class that eats a lot of ice cream. So matter does this thing. Gas is matter. Gas is that kid in the class that doesn't eat ice cream. So that's all.
Good call, Jeremy. Hey, I want to point something out.
QE taught me that.
Related to my question here, little QE butt kissing there at the end. I heard that. That's good job.
I got to give credit where credit's due.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. You see my screen? There's a bunch of so I searched for pictures of a gas molecule and photo of a gas molecule, and this is what came up. This is what came up for photo. Notice anything? This is what came up for picture.
Yeah, didn't someone say that there is no?
That's pretty much what I'm used to seeing for representation of gases.
Well, where's the fucking pictures? How come we can't take a picture of this fucking thing? These aren't pictures. These are.
That's what I've always.
Drawings.
That's what I've always wondered.
They got super breakout in their head, dude. Remember super breakout? That's what's in their head when they're talking about gas and containers. That's why they come out that game super breakout. So that's what we pictured. Doing.
Yep.
Well, I've always wondered that because you can put a camera, something with a better aperture than us, to or within a scope. So if you could see an atom, you should be able to put it on camera.
Yeah.
The
Brandon,
camera has a better
Brandon,
aperture than the eye.
oh, you know what they did to me once? That picture you got on the right there? Somebody drew a line across it and said, look, there's more gas molecules on the bottom. I'm not even lying, bro.
Are you kidding me?
What we're supposed to have is magnetic resonance that we can detect.
By the way, anybody, hey, I want to disclose that was just a joke. Nobody laughed, but it was a joke about the super breakout. That was just a joke. So whoever invented that's at home, and I was just joking, y'all.
No, we're holding that against you forever.
That was a good video game.
What were you saying, Jimbo?
I sort of don't remember. I got distracted, but about these stick models, I forget. But someone will click me into unfart brain mode in a second.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I mean, all those little drawings and diagrams, they check out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is reality right here. You know it because
well, they work for me.
Where are you posting, Brandon?
As far as I see
Where
them
you
in 3D space and mobile.
I'm streaming, Elijah.
Oh, okay.
Discord.
You didn't post anything in the Discord.
No, but I'm streaming in the Discord.
Yeah,
okay.
The closest we're supposed to be able to see atoms is their nuclear magnetic resonance, their NMR.
They do claim to have pictures of atoms, and I did ask for a picture of a gas molecule once, and somebody showed me something, but then I looked into it, and it found out it came from a solid, but then they'll say, well, that solid's made of this, so therefore this is a gas picture of gas. I don't know.
I've seen this thing before. You guys seen this? This blue dot picture?
They don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's everybody start over with all these equations to where we were right before relativity and figure it all out.
Well, Jeremy, I'm going to post something here also, because I'm also wondering what they mean when they say the universe is flat. So I said, maybe I can get a little illustration to help me along while I'm researching. And the illustration is exactly as, what I thought. Like they have like a quilt or some shit, and they have arrows like pointing outward away from this flat quilt, and then they show you what open and closed is, and closed is like a sphere, or at least a semi-sphere from what I saw. And
yeah, there's got to be flat, bro. Hey, Elijah, it's got to be flat. We see Orion somewhere on Earth the whole year, bro.
So all I'm saying is, if we're expanding, right? Like, where is all this sphericity coming from for any of this shit? That's all I'm trying to ask.
Gravity, bro.
I always
let
wonder
me
why we see the
post these
same
graphics.
constellations for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So that picture of the atom, if you look at that picture of the atom there, you can see where those reflective vertical lines are on the right one that's zoomed in. And then you can see where they are when it's zoomed out, and tell that they're not zoomed in that much. It leads me to believe you could see an atom with the naked eye if your eye was up close.
Yeah, how small is that apparatus that's holding that supposed atom? That's true. You should be able to see that almost with the naked eye.
See it
Well, they have
with your
these-
naked eyes. They say that at all.
Look at these
Yeah,
screws
but how
right
big is
here.
the
Check, how's the
apparatus?
mic, guys?
Yep, you're good.
We're
Matrix.
good.
Look at these screws right here that are in the picture, and they've got nuts, bolts. So I mean, that seems awfully fucking big. If these are regular size, I mean, if these are like tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, microscopic screws and nuts and bolts, maybe.
Yeah, that looks too big.
It does. It just, that's the first thing that strikes me is this thing's too big. It just looks too big. Otherwise, you would think that occasionally we'd see a fucking molecule.
You'd be able to see one with a pair of binoculars or a regular microscope or something if that was the case.
SC Montreal, Brandon, SC Montreal made a comment earlier about something facing down, and I was watching the video when you posted it up yesterday, and there was like a like a bounty paper towel kind of thing, and it was facing down. There was also like a Ziploc bag full of stuff in it, and you saw the pressure of the Ziploc bag all pushing down. There was clearly a direction down there. If you could play the video again, I might be able to point it out if I catch it.
Okay. I think we can do that. Let me bring it up again.
That's how those wires looked like to me, Matrix.
Yeah, I caught it yesterday. The problem is I don't think I was in the live show yesterday, or I probably came in late.
Give me 1 second here. I gotta do some copying.
In the meantime, by the way, hello, my flat Earth fam. Didn't get to say hello when I barged in here.
What's up, Elijah?
Hola.
Elijah, how you doing?
Hi, sweetheart. You know I love you.
What's up, guys? Crit, hey, Stacy. What's up, Jedi? Jeremy, Brandon,
What up?
everyone. Arwen.
Oh, by the way,
That was a good point.
Arwen
Go
said,
ahead.
let me get this out and then you can go. Well, Arwen said, well, you can tell him what you said about what he's saying, Arwen, before and after the cut. You said it's not a continuous sentence, correct? Oh, he might not be there, but he said that.
Wait,
and
what?
also
I said what?
that it isn't a continuous sentence at this point right here when he's closing the cabinet in the ISS video.
En dat komt dan in een tankje
Right,
boven.
yes, it's definitely, the video was just obviously cut off. So, come on.
You can tell by the words, too.
You
that
don't
it's-
need a Dutch translator to figure that one out.
Well, I just wanted to confirm, but he's not saying, it's not one sentence across that cut,
No.
right?
No, it's something entirely different.
Okay.
So,
All right. That's what I
And
thought.
this
when I
was
listened to it, I
supposed
just
to
wanted
be
make sure.
this was supposed to be a continuous thing, right? There's not supposed to be cuts in this, if I'm to understand.
I don't know. I'm sure that they would say, oh yeah, there's definitely was either way.
It's supposed to be uncut, yeah. That's what they claim.
They claim this one's uncut?
En voorbereiden u.
Yeah, that's the one of the almost hour-long video of the ISS, right?
It's one of them. They have a few, I think. But yeah,
Pretty sure that's maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to check into that. But I'm pretty sure I thought that was the one, but I could be wrong.
Must be cut regardless. That's what it is.
Hey, Gleam, what's going on, man?
Salute.
How you
How are
doing?
you, Brandon?
Good.
Yes. How are you, King? You good?
Clowning on NASA.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Good. I've been watching you clown on NASA.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Try not to high five the TV. You know, they cost.
Yeah, they're expensive these days. You don't want to blow your whole COVID check on a new TV, right?
You know. Oh, I wish I got a COVID check. Oh, trust me. Worse.
So what brings
But
you
yeah,
in
can
today,
I-
sir? You got something on your mind?
It was. I've been holding back. I've been holding back for ages, and he's dropped off. He dropped off ages ago, and I think it's still within my conscience. I still have to say it. That Grim was on earlier, and I will say for those that don't know, out in the audience as well as on the panel, Grim has been fighting a battle with both flat earthers and globe earthers for 7-8 years, and he's been there from the very start, taking flack from both sides because of Electric Universe. But he sticks up for what he believes in, obviously, and he's a good guy. He's one of the good ones. So please don't attack
A lot of
him.
a
he's
lot
an
of the
asshole.
time, a lot of the time, Grim
Yeah,
is on
sure.
our side.
Yeah, sure. He's a human, but definitely
Exactly.
more humane.
Grim.
More humane. He is definitely a good guy.
Well said, Gleam. I back you up on that, bro.
Yeah. A lot of the times, Grim is on our side.
Like him.
Nice to meet you, Gleam, in another manner because you get compared a lot to Jedi and your voice for some reason, which is quite funny because he's my man. So yeah, no, Gleam is separate than Jedi, but yeah, welcome. It's nice to hear
Well,
from you.
Jedi's not here, Stacy, so now I have to.
Right, he took off for a second. He had to do that.
Sure, he's not the same guy. Sure.
You know what though?
Kent.
You know what? My best friend sounds perfectly like him. Exactly like Jedi. Seriously.
You're busted, Gleam. I mean Jedi.
Yeah, seriously.
I was gonna say earlier, I want to hear Gleam and Jedi talk back to back so I can compare the voices.
Right.
But
12 voices. We have done many hours on 24/7. Many hours. Yeah,
Oh, you should join my new server, huh? Oh, not my new server. I've had it for a while. I love to have you on there talking. He's over there all the time, either here or mine. So it'd be great to have you guys talk on my show. It'd be wonderful.
Definitely.
Trust me, Jedi ain't murdering us with kindness the way Gleam is.
Yeah.
Sure, you'd want him on the
Bless our
show
bird.
as to not raise suspicion that he's not the same person.
Right, it does look really bad now.
You're
Don't you
busted.
know I charge? That'll put a little stopper on it for a couple of weeks. Got to do a
I'm gonna have to make
fundraiser.
it bug get in here.
Hey, Gleam, I
It's
got
all
a.
right.
yeah,
We'll find a way. We can do ventriloquism nowadays, can't we?
Oh, there's all kinds of tricks. Ask Jeremy and Kosho. They've been doing that shit for years now. So it's all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
So true, right?
I'm guilty. Sorry, I dragged the hell out of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elijah raked me over the coals on that.
Elijah. I
The
remember
only
that
one-
day very well.
The only one I'm good at is you utter moron. And he's muted.
You just don't
Can you
understand.
say yeah for me?
That's not fair. Rumpus is in the room,
Yeah, just let me finish.
but he's on deafen.
Let me
Rumpus
finish.
really
Let me
does like to
finish.
get
Let me
muted.
finish. Yeah. Oh my god.
Can somebody?
Hey,
utter.
You almost did enough utters.
Somebody does a really good
Well,
impression. I
guys.
can't remember who it is, but somebody does a really good one. Rumpus. Maybe
I came for 9 holes in a martini.
No.
if you guys don't mind, I really did kind of want some back and forth on this whole flat universe thing, because they say, how's the Earth flat if everything else is spherical? How could
It's
they
ironic.
say that if on a macro scale, what they believe is the universe is flat? Like, what can someone explain to, like, what is it
Yes.
not intuitive? Like, where am I missing something?
I can explain something to you, which is totally against everything. These words, mark my words, these words are true. Gravity makes everything flat.
Who said that?
Me.
No, I mean who?
Just then. No.
Oh, I thought you were quoting
Yeah.
quoting someone.
No,
Well-
no, mark my words. They were my words. But now look up how galaxies are formed. They're formed in accretion disks. If you can imagine the spherical model, where what actually happens to make a globe appear is you have to have a gathering of mass, a gathering of dust, and it has to coagulate in the middle, let's say, or gather up, and then it becomes a disk. And that's why Saturn's like it is with its disks. It becomes a disk, and then all of a sudden, when there's too much mass in this accretion disk, it then not implodes, but it then becomes spherical, starting from the middle upwards.
One question: how far away you think Saturn is, Gleam?
Quick fact: Saturn, including its rings, is the flattest planet known. Anyway, I don't know. Put it that way. I don't know. It can be. It can be 4,000.
Where'd you get?
Yeah, or in around that, or it can be, however many billions they say. It's.
I just want
scale
to.
invariance, isn't it?
I just want to say Jedi debunked Saturn a few weeks ago on the show. So
There we go.
Gleam,
We have different opinions.
Where'd you get your? Where'd you get your dust from, Gleam?
The dust is throughout the whole of space. There is this thing called the missing mass problem, and it's basically they can't account for. It's like 10% of the existing 0.5% of the dark matter dark energy split. They cannot account for 10%, or should I say 90% of the mass that's out there, so they consider dust to fill everywhere.
But if,
and
but if
hydrogen gas.
if everything is expanding into a frictionless environment, why is anything coming together anyways?
I don't think they say that. It's weird to understand. It is crazy. But
So the
it's
Big
not
Bang isn't us starting from a
small stuff.
small point,
No,
and then
that's
expanding.
Hold on. This is important. That 5% includes black holes and quasars and shit that weighs 1,000 tons in a teaspoon on Earth. That includes all that shit.
But we can't say. But we can't say that it starts from a small point in which everything outside of that point is void of any matter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's
And then
pretty
say it's
contradictory,
like,
isn't it? I agree
oh,
with you
okay.
on that.
Okay.
No, I agree with you. It's just the way how it is explained is that if it's the dimension of the universe itself is expanding in all directions, meaning that if you did travel one direction, you would end up coming back on yourself anyway.
I don't get that.
Or light just bends, or light in a medium just runs out of energy, you know, and bends. You know, it's one or the other.
Well,
Could you imagine?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Rumpus told us the other day, if you have a straight line, it has an infinite radius or something. Remember?
Where did you get the energy for the Big Bang? Where'd you get the energy?
It's the total energy of everything that is calculated in the globe model today, they say.
We'll never know where you get the energy, right, James? Like, because the thing is, we'll never know where they get the energy. But if we beg the question, we can ask them, where does the energy come from for things to come together? I mean, the justification is gravity, but like I said earlier, that sounds like a violation of the first law if we're going to beg the question, right?
But one can't even ask, where does the energy come to stay together? Hold on, James.
Hold on.
Where
He
does
was
the
talking to
energy
me.
come
He
to
said
stay
my name.
together?
Well, I agree that I'm begging the question, no doubt, but I'll admit that I just wanted him to admit the energy has to be eternal. It must have always been there waiting to explode.
That's what they're working on.
I'm begging the question within their creation story. Like within that begging the question fallacy, I can point out the flaw anyway, because the earth itself would be a violation.
Materials came from.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? How did it form? And most of all, how did it stay together? Because they claim the sun and all these celestial bodies are made out of certain objects. But if they put them same supposedly objects nearby in the laboratory, it won't create a sun. So how does that work?
Well, energy excites mass or particles, doesn't it? Like you heat water and the surface of it will evaporate. It will change phase, right? So it's like all this energy from the sun that's supposedly here before the earth. How do we have the earth at all?
For something to evolve, that means something different has to come and change whatever is. So regardless of whatever they want to call it, something different always has to come along for whatever evolution to take place.
Yeah, it's still just a story when you get down to it, though, in my opinion. To say what happened billions and billions of years ago, and you know, it's all. I just kind of zone out when we talk about it, because how the fuck are we ever gonna know?
The weirdest one is the latest new one to resolve some problems with the Big Bang or major problems with the Big Bang. I think it's Alan Guth. It's one of the famous mathematicians, basically, and it's a ever imploding and exploding universe, where this is how he imagines it. Rather than a normal one Big Bang, it was the Earth bangs to start with, and then it explodes. Now, as time goes on and all the matter dissipates, let's say, that total energy then becomes the volume of the next explosion.
That was before expansion, though, Gleam. That's old.
Banging
this
Earth
was 2
theory,
years
huh?
ago. 2 years
So
ago.
there's nothing. So there's nothing, and nothing is moving. Nothing is happening. Right? Perfect stability. There was a void, and then something happened while nothing is happening to cause a Big Bang. This is what you're saying?
No. It's trippy to think of it, but if you imagine a ping pong ball, you've got all the energy that's in the universe now. If we reverse the time to a ping pong ball, all squashed into that ping pong ball. Now,
That's
as it explodes or expands and becomes a massive ping pong ball with all the different fragments and bits, as everything explodes, like Earth explodes, every single thing that we see and know now all explodes and all becomes little tiny fragments. That then becomes the next ping pong ball.
So what you're saying is that we start off with like a ball of something, and that ball of something explodes, expanding this material in the universe.
Well, put it this way, it's another explanation for God, or a scientific explanation of the exact same thing people would call an energy called God made everything. It's the same. It's the same thing,
That's
but
the thing.
stretched
If you
out
start
and
from
just
So something
diametric
eternal.
opposite.
if you start from the single that expanded is
Hold on, folks. Something's taking place.
divide any particles ever heated in a frictionless environment.
Volume,
no energy loss.
But the Big Bang itself is very
Clear it up in a
difficult
minute.
to explain. You can't explain something just
There we go.
happening when nothing is happening.
What about
It's
Methuselah?
massively hypothetical.
What about Methuselah, Gleam?
Methuselah.
The
Explain,
star,
please.
the star Methuselah interferes with the concept of the Big Bang. It's apparently older than the Big Bang.
Yeah. I think there was something else to contradict that, but I did think that was a bit of a cop out. They said
claim
the actual
Methuselah-
measurement of it was wrong or something like that, but
They claim
yeah,
Methuselah
I
is
remember now.
14.4 billion years old.
Is that star that's older than the universe supposedly that is?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they fucked up. They fucked up with that one.
That's it. I'm sure it was quickly covered up regardless anyway,
Yeah.
or explained in ulterior method. It was gravity Aureolus or something like that.
They've always got gravity, right? And dark, throw a little dark
Time
matter
time
in
dilation.
there.
Dark gravity
fluid.
Aureolus.
It was time. It was time
Fuck that.
dilation.
I'm gonna start calling gravity violation of first law. I'm sorry. It just seems
They don't
like
even know.
that's the reason that everything is doing the opposite of what an explosion would do. Like that's what that seems like.
Dark energy
They
is
don't
exactly
even know
that.
what gravity is. They'll all give you a different explanation or definition of gravity.
Oh, what do you want to see? A picture of gravity? Look at an Einstein ring. That's what they showed me in GEMS before. I said, yeah, this is space time. That's your gravity. And they showed me an Einstein ring.
But
Deflection.
An Einstein
gravity really?
Would you
Have
say
even
an
thought
Einstein ring? Like a
Einstein
ring?
ring.
You can
No,
get
it's
a
a
packet
it's a
of
s-
No, what?
Einstein
it's a
rings.
like a Super Bowl ring.
it's a
star.
circle of lights in the sky. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
The
got
light
a
in the
ring
sky.
and a cross. The cross is actually a semi-debunk of his theory because it's not symmetric. But yeah, he's got a ring or it's evidence for his theory that light would bend round in such a way that it would curve around in a circle from a certain
But not
perspective.
bend, but not crush you. It'll crush rock, but not you.
Oh no, it's not crushing anything. It's just the light behind something. If you can imagine, there's a black hole in front of it. What he's saying is the light that's shining behind it is bending round the black hole and coming round in front of it, creating a circle.
Sounds legit.
Why is it doing
Sounds
that?
legit. Yeah. Well, it's just in the light's path on its way from the source to Earth. It's got many deflections, and they say mass is the deflection, which is the space-time, which is exactly what you're showing there on the screen. That's the path light would take if it was going towards Earth. Let's say.
I thought they retracted on their gravity wave picture. They was wrong. The owl looking
but
thing.
just this week, I think
They retracted that.
Yeah, they've come up with something this week that was that shows a clearer picture, and it's actually got like magnetic lines going into it, like Fibonacci type lines.
Something about they retracted on seeing gravity waves. They thought they seen them, but they didn't. Now
Yeah,
they're
you
saying
see,
they
there was a physicist from CERN who originally challenged the first detection. Stephen something in Germany. He done a talk, and he basically said, look, they built filters to filter out all the other noise, the known noise, like lorries, people's footsteps, the sheep and stuff like that. So they built these filters, but the filters were purposefully made to let through the very frequency that they were looking for. And one of the frequencies that they didn't cut off was a thunderstorm. And there was actually, at the exact time of the detection, a thunderstorm between the two, Hansen and whatever the other one's called. And he accused them of not having, or of forcing the detection, which, to be honest, I reckon they did to get more funding, because they shut down straight away as soon as they'd done that first detection and got millions, hundreds of millions. And then the second detection, straight away, within weeks, they shut down again. Big upgrade, hundreds of millions. But anyway, yeah, the pictures look nice, don't they?
I don't even think they're pictures. I think they're computer animated.
Yeah, no,
that's just my
they done it
opinion.
nice. You could probably put an animated coin on there, and it would spiral down nicely. It'd be
Ooh,
pretty
speaking
cool.
of, well, I guess it'd be an apparent deviation of light, but seeing as that stars are, light, right? I was thinking, if the Earth was turning, shouldn't we see an apparent deflection with shooting stars, aka Coriolis? Shouldn't there be like a curved path, or an apparent curved path with shooting stars?
I would say that I would say their argument. I would say their argument is it's too quick. It happens too fast.
If you think of the
But
Flash.
I think we should see. I think we should see curvature in jet streams. I mean, the next time you look at a jet stream that goes from horizon to horizon, even if there's like a cutoff in the middle, and you picture yourself like standing on that cloud, or you won't see all the way to the other end of the cloud. But down here, you should see the curve.
Stars are
Yeah,
too
they're
fast,
saying-
but sniper bullets aren't. They claim Coriolis with sniper bullets, so stars are too fast, but sniper bullets aren't, right?
Guys, listen, everything moves in geodesics. It's all curved lines. Nothing moves in a straight line.
It's actually circles, because
there's no-
this
hold on,
conversation's
Jeremy, there's
just
no
gone
such
full
thing.
circle.
It's light
Yeah.
it's light that curves.
Everything.
Jeremy.
Everything. There can't be any straight lines.
Wishing on that
There's
star.
no such thing as a straight line, Jeremy. They're all curved. I get
No,
your
the
point.
curved lines are the straight. Bro, you got to get your globe shit straight. The curved lines are the straight lines.
Sort your
If you draw a
curves out.
perfectly straight line on a piece of paper, a glober's going to tell you it's curved. There is no such thing as a straight line.
Curved is level. Curved is level.
A straight line is
that
just
too.
an infinitely what is it? Infinitely small
Infinite
curve?
radius.
Infinitely
over 6R.
Oh shit, what is that word that they say? Infinitely small curving or something like that. Remember that? It's curving.
Yeah, I
in
know. I
infinitely
can't get the nonsense straight myself.
I know,
sometimes.
I can't remember the nonsense. It was really good double speak though. I wish I
Hey, you got it
remembered.
right with infinite. It's infinite fucking straight lines.
No, it's an infinite.
Straight lines
gotta
have
give it to
infinite curvature with an infinite
Exponential.
radius.
Right. It's infinite.
Sorry, guys.
It's infinitely small curvature or something like that.
Which means they could keep making more and more lines. Like say you take first octagon and with 8 lines around a circle, then you make a septagon, and then you make a 20-tagon and a 80-tagon, a 1,000-tagon, like they used to do. And they used to have to do it manually by paper until found a way to do it faster. Yeah, in other words, you could keep making more and more tiny straight lines and wrap it around a circle. So there's no way to ever shrink down to nothing, so they call it infinite. You know, but that's
Sounds
God.
like
That's
infinite
That
are gone.
that sounds like the
Sounds-
fractal coastline paradox, or not?
no, it's the one thing. It's that pyramid fucking. It's the pyramid thing where that one. Who was it, man? We talk about him sometimes, man. I don't know, it wasn't Newton, but one of the mathematicians, man, who come up with who recognized the pattern in the pyramid code, and figured a quicker way to calculate the instead of doing them just one at a time. You know, they had guys doing the shit one at a time, taking 20 years to just figure it out with more and more just keep doubling it. It was insanity, dude. And I wish I had more information, but the story's kind of, you know, it's right on cue without the names, right?
Hey, Gleam, I got a question for you. If you've been listening to the show, where do you fall on this gravity, the cause of gravity, the downward bias debate that we've been having the last few days?
It's 100% completely false and misconception. Gravity being something. Gravity is not something. It's not an isolated thing in itself. It's a consequence of something else happening, regardless of what model you want to choose. Obviously, the consequence on a flat Earth, density and disequilibrium, and on a globe Earth, it is acceleration on a net scale of things and how mass acts. Accelerating bodies act within a medium or of space-time.
So in other words, a zero and a negative and a positive, or just positive working its way down and not never reaching zero. That's basically all he's saying.
With the
And he's right.
with the electrostatics side of things, there is scientists, genuine scientists, who have formulated and attempted to unify, let's say, electrostatics as the gravitational force. Morton F. Spears was one of them. There was a toy paper done by Stephen, I can't even remember his name, but he's the bubble chamber analysis inventor at CERN. And he done a toy paper on resolving dark matter using electrostatics, and he managed to actually resolve the mass very, very lightly, let's say, within that. And there is, I mean, put it this way, believe it or not, Einstein, Faraday, Newton, who else would have? Lorentz, Dirac, Feynman, all believed that gravity was an electromagnetic phenomenon. And I don't know whether a lot of people know that.
Planck, freaking Mach.
What do we need an outside force? Is there any effects or phenomena that we can witness that we need some kind of outside force that has been kind of proposed?
It's not that it's needed. It's evidential on the electrostatic side of things. We obviously get lightning, and you see it, you feel it if you're getting struck by it. So,
Gleam, can you name any scientists who think it's mass attracting mass?
Hold on, Brian. So lightning, that's an interesting observation, but as far as for things falling down towards the earth or rising, how does lightning provide evidence that we need an outside force for that?
It's not that you need an outside force for that. I think it goes deeper. I think you're both, when somebody says density disequilibrium and another person says, no, I think it's electrostatics, you're both actually saying the right thing, or the same thing, sorry, not the right thing, but the same.
I disagree.
No, I'll go into why. Chemical bonding process is electrostatically based. Everything that we know of and see as a physical mass is electrostatic based, and how tightly compressed these atoms are, how dense an object is based upon its electrostatic potential, its natural electrostatic potential.
I would say to that, I'd say compress water and improve it.
Well, I mean, there is no compressing water. It's a change of state, isn't it, into ice? And
so how do you use electrostatic to determine the density of
sorry, I was going to say you
planets?
can do it with magnetism. Which
Were you
is,
done?
If it's coupled up.
Were you done with
Sorry,
your
with
explanation,
plants.
Gleam?
Well, the electrostatics is undeniable, but I think from Bob's, let's say, side of the camp, and good times for all. From their side of the camp, they're fighting that we are everything's electrostatic, and we are all swimming in this electrostatic medium. Now, globe Earth and the heliocentric model has neglected this magical force of electric.
Thanks
and
for the beers, man.
created a new imaginary additional one, pretending that it's working in the background to this powerful force. In the heart, I think they're leaning towards to take away God's creativeness. Yeah. Now, from a perfect way to explain you both is let's say there is a sect of flat earthers who are the standard. And there are orthodox flat earthers who are naturalists. Now, Nathan Oakley QE are that camp, where they would basically say, no, it's purely density. What we know, the electrostatics bit is nonsense. However, I can't understand.
It's real simple. Is there a void or is there not a void?
Guys. Let him finish. Yeah, that was good stuff.
I would like for him to finish, except no one said that electrostatics didn't exist. I know certainly Nathan has to do a ton at reminding people that that's not his position. So I can't.
Yeah, very sorry, bro. I did think you was finished. I'm very sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that, Elijah, and well said. And yeah, but I put it this way: what I see from Nathan and QE is the resistance that this force is responsible. And the core point I was trying to make with that is I believe that there's an orthodox sect of flat earthers who do want to cut away all ties from the globe physics. And Right Hand is a very, very pioneer of that. He wants to really cut back. He wants to literally start and wash that chalkboard clean. Now, QE and Nathan do lean in that camp. They're in the camp of I'm not saying it's a bad camp at all. It's a very good camp. My stance of being a Mac Earther is exactly that. Ernst Mach himself did not believe in the atomic realm because you can't see it. You can't prove it. I mean, it does turn out now you can use these bubble cloud chambers and stuff and little bits.
I want to give a 5-second comment, y'all.
But
5-second comment,
Chemistry. What the fuck?
Guys,
I just waited all that time. Give me 5 seconds, Jeremy. It comes down to common sense. Is there a void or is there not a void? That's your two camps. Is there a void? Then there must be a bias. If there's not a void, then there's always a median and no need for a bias.
See, I mean, there's no such thing as a void. There's an empty space. Put it that way, in my belief. And I think both camps don't believe that either. That there is such thing as
You said there's an empty space, but not a void.
No empty space. No such thing as empty space. It's a misnomer. Everywhere where you perceive that there's empty, like an empty vacuum, is actually full of energy.
I'm sorry. One of the things that you said, you were talking about chemical bonds, solids and all of this. But this is the fallacy of division we were talking about. Gases aren't bonded. And when we asked you to describe how there's how electrostatics has to do with the way things are ordered, I kind of still don't have that answer from you.
Yeah, no, the atmosphere, it does act as an ionic bond towards Earth, definitely.
You said my belief. So the reason why I like QE and Nathan's approach, maybe not their demeanor, but their approach of natural, is science is defined by the physical and natural world and the study thereof. And then you can use applied sciences, in other words, science already known, for philosophy and belief, but you can't call it science. See what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's cool. That's
I'm not
cool.
saying, and I'm not saying philosophy can is always wrong. It could be right. So I don't think you should call it science if it doesn't adhere to the method.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I like them.
I 100%. I back you there. I'm on that same sentiment, but it depends on whose science. Because if I now say to you that there is science that Robert Millikan oil drop experiment, which was used for electrostatic charge to actually get the constant, he fired or sprayed out a mist of oil droplets, and he sprayed it out within an electrostatic field. And what he could actually do when he increased the electrostatic potential and charge within that vacuum, he could actually make those droplets float in midair. He could actually turn it up more and make them shoot back up. So to defy the very thing of gravity, of it coming down.
Anytime I argue this, I can get you down to gas floating in a vacuum or a void up above us, an infinite gradient above us. Anytime I argue this with anybody, it will always boil down to, will gas drop in a vacuum, or is there infinite gradient above us? No matter fucking who I argue with, it always boils down to one of the two.
You're saying,
the point I was trying to make
hold
there.
on. Can I also jump in here?
Let me ask one
You're
question because I've
saying-
been quiet
okay,
so
go
far,
ahead, bro.
and then we'll let you go, Elijah. So one of the issues that I have with this outside force is we can't block it. There's no experiment where you can block gravity or electrostatics or whatever is causing the effect or phenomena that we see. Is there?
Not from what I think. Not from what I think. You can block electrostatic charge, yes. You can block that, if so to say. You can connect yourself to Earth, which is electrostatically charged in telluric currents anyway. So you're not actually blocking it. But the globe model, let's say, is there is not a space in Earth or a part in the whole universe where there isn't an electromagnetic field or some sort of matter. Everything.
So when they do
with something.
So when they do Cavendish and they say, "Oh, we grounded it and blocked it from the electrostatics," that's not true.
No, that's true in what they are saying. It's not necessarily true in what they're doing, thinking what they're doing. The electrostatic charge, if you can shield something inside by discharging excess charge downwards, but that still doesn't get rid of the natural gradient that buzzes off Earth. Basically, Earth's thin layer or skin, up to about 50 kilometers or something.
My mind
Can I
seems
just
to
ask-
kind of always want to go to the conclusion that if there was some kind of outside force impacting something, you should be able to block that outside force. Magnetism, you can block it. Yeah, I can't think of a field that you can't block.
Yeah, that's the thing with the ether concept. That's the thing. Electrostatic is charge, and that is known, and you can actually block that. So I think it's rooted, especially with Bob Nodell, 100%. It's rooted in the ether.
Okay.
He's going as electrostatic charge is the manifestation, let's say, of this ether, producing all the other forces, basically.
I see. Okay.
Electromagnetism.
So that's where it ties into the ether then. Gotcha.
Charges exactly.
Definitely.
You know,
There's like a married relationship here.
Electrostatic charge.
Elijah and then Arwen. Elijah and then Arwen. Go ahead, Elijah.
There's a married relationship here where I don't feel it should be, or what do you call them? Like there's a nemesis here, and you said when you have whatever setup, what'd you say?
Oil drop experiment. The Millikan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. One of the key things you said that rang off to me was that it defied gravity. But gravity isn't defined. So how could it defy something that's not defined to be a thing?
Yeah, it's not the definition. The effect is defined. but they do not understand the cause at all. None of them proclaim to. And if you catch anyone saying they do, they're chatting shit.
They claim to know. Some of them will claim to know. Some of them won't. Over in the hardcore globbers. But I'm wondering what. Oh, sorry, Arwen wanted to go. Go ahead, Arwen.
What? No, I already made my
Did you-
point. It's just that all this electrostatics and all that. So where's the charge exactly? If that is the case, then this charge should be all present at all time. Extremely
Earth is the
potent.
charge. Earth is
Friction.
the
That's going
object.
on.
Friction,
Electrostatics
friction, the
have a
wind.
distance,
James,
a maximum
James.
distance, they have a range. And it's very measurable output. So
They do measure it with a field mill. I mean, NASA even has their own field mill in the middle of Florida, I think. In that.
Now you
electrostatically
did say
charged room has very distinct abilities.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, put it
that are
this
not
way:
present in this
there's
realm. So
there's this thing called discharger spikes that are on every single plane. You may have seen them if you've looked out the window and looked at the wing. They've got these little spikes, and they're not for hanging coats on. They're for discharging electrostatic buildup. So the internal equipment doesn't get done.
Yeah,
So
they
what
get
that's
it from
is
friction.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
not
it's
from just
moving,
static presence. They get
moving
it from
through
friction.
this. There's free electrons hitting it, building up charge.
That's
and
air
it's-
hitting it and causing static charge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's debatable. There are if you do not believe in such thing as free electrons, then so be it.
I believe
do.
in static charge due
So-
to friction because of motion through air. Sure.
My question is it static charge that carries nutrients from the Sahara to the rainforest 1,600 miles, if that even is true?
Most possibly.
Or
yes.
is it the wind?
That is created by that electrostatic potentials or temperature changes. That's exactly what it is.
But it's the wind, though.
So do you guys?
The wind is-
do you guys think?
It's the wind because the energy being input in the system is causing a differential.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the synonyms between the right hand rule and electrostatics as a whole, there is a global, so they say, a global atmospheric
slip up there.
electrostatic circuit. No, there's no slip up. That's what they call it.
It's a
You'd
Freudian
have to look
slip.
up that. There's no Freudian slip. That's what they call it. It's the global
Yeah, it's forced by habit.
electrostatic. Either way, that's what they call it, and it's basically throughout the whole Earth. There is an electrostatic potential. It carries this 400,000 volts, which is discharging every second with lightning all around, and there is a gradient, a net gradient, which goes from Earth. As humans have defined it, there's no definition of what should be negative, what should be positive, or anything like that. It's as humans have defined it that we've just said that every 1 meter we've measured a measurable difference, and it's within the regions of 100 to 150 volts per meter, and then it drops off quickly right at the top, which is 50 kilometers. And
So
that's
I gotta.
measured. That's measured. I mean, depends what equipment you use, because getting back to the Millikan oil experiment, if you were to present that to the team, Arwin, I'll present that now, would that be taken as, oh, that's the machine making it happen? That's got nothing to do with what you're trying to prove, because you are making the machine splurt out the oil, you're making it go in a certain direction, spray out in little fine droplets in a mist, and you're putting it in a vacuumous electric field. So you built the equipment to actually make it levitate.
That's really
So-
cool. I never said you can't create interesting setups that'll do things. I'm just saying to assume that the entire realm is just that, the evidence is missing. It's not that,
So
because
I got a kind of a
I
silly.
get that. I get that.
electrostatics
Warren.
don't
That's a
influence
good point.
gas
That's a good
over a distance. It
that's a good
just doesn't.
statement.
It can influence things solidly, can create a conductor that can influence as long as there's a solid, right? Then But beyond a certain reach, it just doesn't influence air. So the energy present at all time within the container would have to be enormous to have
It
this
is.
constant influence in order to create this presupposed gravity force to align everything the way it does. It's just not there. It's not enough energy. The
So this
consequences would be enormous.
electrostatic, it's kind of a silly question, but it might help me on understanding certain things. If you know how you take the balloon, rub it on your head, and you create that static charge, if you was to float in the air, do you still get the same result? In other words, is the ground the ground?
No, but you can take that as a practical example of
you
you can have
smoking,
charge, and it will stop the balloon from, let's say the balloon has been made out of with helium inside it and made to go upwards. You can rub that against your hair and stop it from going upwards. Let's say the balloon had warm air in there. You can do the same. You can stop it from dropping downwards or floating in midair. So,
but can you give it that, hold on, my question is, can you give it that extra, can you give it that extra static charge? You know, you stick it to the wall after you rub it to your, can you do that without standing on the ground? If you see it, do you get that extra charge?
No, I'm sure you
but I'm not a
can.
monkey
Yeah.
or a magnet.
Yeah. You don't have to be connected to ground in order to produce electricity. The friction, or where it all happens, is between your hair, the electrons in your hair, and the electrons in the balloon skin.
I gotta agree with Arwen and Elijah on this one, man. It's like that might play a part in certain things, electrostatics and all that. But listen, they don't call hot going to cold a force. They don't call pressure going to non-pressure a force. And just like they can't explain them two, they can't explain up going down. It's you raise something up, you're putting potential energy in it. Okay, when you let go of it, the kinetic energy is released. The force is lifting the shit up. It's just like hot going to cold. It's a natural law, and they call it gravity. They call it a force. It's a crock of shit. There's no downward bias unless there's a void.
Yeah, I think there's a massive disconnect there with the force going down, and it's exactly that. I don't think the electrostatic team are actually saying, yeah, there is a definite bias for everything going down, because we always wait there. Sorry. There is always a switch of environment where 1 minute you're talking about the atmosphere, next minute we're talking about something in a vacuum, like gas disperses and fills the available volume. If you put gas into the atmosphere, let's say smoke in your old school disco, that gas doesn't float up. That has a bias to go down. So certain things do have certain biases.
Yeah,
obviously.
because they're solid.
Yeah, it's exactly that. So it's not to say, but they're still saying that that's controlled by electrostatics.
I almost made a video.
Then you're making a
I finally called him out, and then he only said it like 3 times after that. But I'm like, nah, I don't want to be a dick because I love Bob Nodell. But yeah, they all call it a force, dude. The gravity, the electromagnetic, they call it a downward bias. And then they call it a force 100 times over. They all call it a force, and it's not a force. It's provably not a fucking force.
What the?
Well, I think that what you did there was just make a distinction without a difference, because when Arwen said, well, that's because they're solids, and you're like, exactly. Well, we're just talking about relative density now.
Right. Electrostatics can have an influence, on the dynamics of things, whatever. Friction, situations happening, pressure differentials can cause all kinds of friction, lightning and everything, right? But those things are not the primary cause of the displacement, which is what the incoherent dielectric gravity idea is all about. That there is this constant that causes the alignment of the relative density motion directions. And that's just ridiculous. Like,
yeah, they're just
electrostatics
trying to
doesn't
compromise.
abide by that.
All right, guys, I think that's a good cutoff point there. That was a very interesting discussion. Gleam, I'm not sure I heard you come down on one side or the other. It sounds like you're still, you were just.
I think they're both the same side. I think they're both the same side. I think there's two. It's not a separate argument. I think you're both arguing exactly the same thing. It's just interpretations are different.
Okay.
I have to disagree,
which
because
is the same with gravity.
There's a
as well.
there's a duality there that you're trying to put on me that I don't agree with.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm
fine.
not sure I agree with it
I do
either.
agree. Earth
But,
is a battery. Earth is either a battery or a capacitor. I mean, I agree with the dielectric component, but there's no fucking downward force. I agree that the oceans are a perfect electrolyte, and if stuff is moving above us in water down here, and just anything water moving is electricity. Period. I agree. There's electricity all around us. I don't deny any of that, but there's no fucking downward force. That is fucking crap. It's easily proven. All right, I'm done.
all right, I'm sure we'll discuss that much more in the future, and you can do so after we go through final thoughts, and I continue recording after the show. But we're gonna wrap it up. Got a super chat came in a while ago from C4. Shout out C4. Thank you very much. Jeremy, tell everyone how you debunked relative density by using stainless steel Hulk hands. Jeremy is the FE claim killer. Laughing, smiley face, 2 thumbs up. Care to comment, Jeremy?
Okay, that was fucking yeah, I care to comment. Some guy was drunk and gemmed, and he's asking me why solids don't go through solids. Because if relative density is true, then that should happen for some reason. I don't know. He was wasted. So, yeah. I mean, can anyone tell me why solids don't go through solids? We explained it in detail to him. Intermolecular bonds,
because of relative density. That's why
solids
can't go into solids.
Solids don't
because
go
of
through
relative
solids.
density.
John,
Because of relative density.
Or solid suspension or solid state of rest.
Yeah, when we're talking about relative density and disequilibrium and all that stuff, we're not talking about a steel ball should go through wood because it's denser. I mean, you got to apply some base fucking logic to this argument.
Yeah, it's
That's legit. What they were. Yeah.
Well, the densities are relative.
No, but it's not
You
relative
got a
density.
steel
It's
ball.
more dense
You
thing
got a
on
steel
less-
ball, and you got wood, and both of those are relative to the experiment. One's not going to go through the other, no matter what medium you put them in.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Everybody go check out Dr. John D's channel. He's our PhD guy, okay? If you want answers to all these questions, go check out Dr. John D. He is our PhD, like it or fucking not. He's telling it how it is, and nothing more, nothing fucking less.
Okay, but real
Dr.
quick,
John D.
relative density doesn't mean densities that are relative to the experiment.
Yeah, so you have the two solids.
That's the context you just used it in right now.
Are we having final
You have
thoughts
the
still,
two
or-
solids.
Yeah, two
still
solids of
have
different
the two
densities.
solids.
One density is one is more dense than the other, and it's on top. The question is, why isn't it falling into it?
Right.
And the answer is because of the intermolecular bonds, and basically electromagnetism of these bonds is stronger than the downward force of this more dense object.
Exactly. Thank you. And anybody out there who tries to use that as a debunk of relative density disequilibrium, you should just check out of that conversation, because the person that you're talking to is out to lunch. But I'm gonna wrap it up.
He was a little drunk.
He was drunk. Oh, okay, that's all right then. He was probably just having fun.
Can I have my final thought?
Yeah, you can go first. Go ahead, Glenn.
Sorry. It's just to answer back to Elijah, just to try and explain it very briefly. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at E equals mc squared, forget the c squared, the speed of light, push that out of the way. You've got one side which is energy, one side which is mass. Now, I believe one argument, the electrostatic side, are arguing from the side of an energy. There is this force around mass which dictates what happens,
Then it should be measurable.
albeit connected to mass and intrinsic of mass. It's not an addition to. But then you've got on the other side raw solid mass, kilograms, let's say. So sorry, the energy side is joules, and on the other side is kilograms. And that's all you're arguing. You're both arguing, one saying, no, it's mass, this is a density thing, and the other one saying, no, this is an energy thing. And it turns out, as Einstein may have been a bit right, they're the same thing. They're the same thing, just different forms.
Can I ask a question?
Manifestations.
Oh no, because it's
Thank you.
final thoughts.
Anyway,
but
Brandon,
you can,
salute, Brandon. Salute, Brandon.
thank you
very
Glenn.
much.
Very appreciated.
It's a pleasure.
Data, you're itching, you're scratching yourself. You can do final thoughts right now and use that time.
Well, there is a downward pressure because we have hydrostatic equilibrium. So there is a pressure coming from the atmosphere that's pushing a downward effect on everything. In fact, we have a pressure all around us. That's why our body offsets the 14.7 psi, right? Without our body offsetting that, what would happen to our body? So there's obviously pressure surrounding us. There's obviously pressure surrounding us.
Exposed in the open.
Hold on, Arwen.
Without
there's obviously pressure around us. There's obviously a downward pressure causing hydrostatic equilibrium.
Okay.
What
Thanks, Data.
about the
Arwen,
helium?
go ahead. Your final thoughts.
What about the helium?
So the hydrostatic equilibrium is basically evident of a downward pressure. The pressure that is pushing on the helium is greater than the helium can push on that outer pressure, thereby being pushed up. So it can't compete with the pressure that's being applied to it, so it escapes up.
Well, let's continue this in just a minute. Hold on, Arwen. Let's continue this after we get through final thoughts, and you guys can have this conversation without me interrupting. Percentage. LAB. Brian Leakey.
Yeah, so now there's two forces, a downward and a separate fucking equation for the buoyancy. That's what it takes to have the two forces. Downward pressure, which is not going just downward, it's going in all directions. Data, fucking genius, fucking idiot, dude. But love all y'all, man. There's no fucking force, dude. Everything acts. Unless there's a void up there or at the bottom of a vacuum, I repeat, there's no force.
Don't respond, Data. Don't respond, Data.
There's no magical. There's no magical.
This is final thoughts. Data.
All right, thanks, Brian. Car in Kentucky. No. Elijah. Oh, Crit.
Yeah, great show. Oh, go ahead, Elijah. Or...
No, go ahead, Crit.
Okay, yeah, great show. A lot of fun at the beginning, with the whole NASA stuff and, talking about why globalists can't just seem to get over flat Earth, why they're just absolutely obsessed with what other people think. They have a dream, they have a fantasy, and they think that flat Earthers are trying to take their fantasy away from them. And it's not. It's not true. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. Okay, they can maintain their ball fantasy all they want. If they want to hear about flat Earth, this is where you can hear about it.
Cool, thanks, Crit. Elijah.
Yeah, just wanted to say that I don't feel extra pressure on my head when I'm standing up, extra pressure on my front side when I'm laying on my back. I don't experience this vector down pressure on my body. Sorry, that's all.
Thanks, Elijah. Aaron. Global virus foe. James.
Everybody's Truman. May the force be with you.
Well said. Thanks, James. Kitty, not so soft. Pause.
Just wanted to give a shout out to Crit and say I still love you, buddy. You're number one in my books.
Fan club is alive and well. Matrix. Paige.
Yeah, hi Brandon, hi everyone. I just wanted to add, if we are looking at our model, flat Earth model, there is a drift. So there is a measurement of something moving.
What?
All right. Having a little audio issue here. You guys hear me?
You never.
I hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
You
Paige, were you done?
I got it.
No? Okay.
Paige, are you done?
Lemon?
Sorry?
Me.
Were you finished with your final thought?
I was on final thoughts. Yeah, did he just say, am I done?
Yeah, you cut off, Big Style. You cut out a bit.
Oh.
Repeat it.
Okay,
Repeat
no
it. We
worries.
want to hear it. We want to hear it.
Say it again.
Okay. Okay, sorry. I said that the drift that we pick up with the gyro, we need to be able to explain that in our model. And from what I can understand with the measurements, it is a downward spiraling toroidal, so down and like an apple. And that, I think, even if it's not forcing something to go down or whatever, this whole downward bias thing, it's still there. So the tiny little bit of push that it gives might just be enough to, account for this drift and account for the little bit of sort of, downward, this force they talk about, the ballers all talk about. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thanks, Paige. Lemon. Jeremy.
Well, to respond to what Paige just said, falsification is independent of replacement. And if, this group of flat earthers gave us this 18-degree drift that claims to be on our side, we would have falsified the notion that it's Earth rotation. But anyways, I want everyone to remember this fallacy, the fallacy of division. They use this on us all the time, nonstop, when they say gas is matter, therefore, matter should do, the gas should do this. That's all.
Thanks, Jeremy.
So true.
Yeah, that was a good call, whoever called that out earlier. SE.
Good show, Brandon. Good show.
Thank you, sir. Bob.
Has anyone else gotten the idea that maybe the music of the Beatles was some sort of mind control experiment or attempt to mess with the heads of the people listening to it on a mass scale?
It may have been putting out some of the.
I would have said Hendrix more than Beatles.
No, it's
Fool
true.
on the hill
Nixon.
sees the sun going down, but
called the
the
Tavistock
eyes in his head see the
Institute.
world
Come
spinning
on.
around.
No, that is true. Nixon was worried about the Beatles and actually wanted Elvis Presley to start talking about how use his fans to discredit the Beatles.
Every so often, I'll hear a Beatles song at
Never
work
gotten
or
acid,
something on
never
the
will.
radio, and there seems to be something about that music that is not right.
Yeah, here, look
I
at
don't know about
Guys,
mind
you guys are
control,
starting to-
but
I
it-
love you
it's-
both.
Damn.
We can talk about it later, but I wanted to throw that out there. It's something I've been thinking about.
Cool. It's an interesting.
Well, there was
topic.
that one song, "The Fool on the Hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see."
Come
the world
on, don't
spinning
cheat,
around,
because I wanted to jump in there worse
Yeah,
than
let's finish
everybody.
final
I'm the
thoughts, and
stinger
then
here.
we
Come
could
on.
save this for the after show.
Technically, Lemon.
Yeah,
did
hold
give
on.
us
We're in final thoughts.
His final thought. Go ahead, Lemon.
Basically, you could have a medium of ether that's determining what goes up, down, and floats. So that might be what Bob's dealing with the 18-degree thing. Faster spinning ether above the unmoving Earth, but we'll have to see. In that case, gravitation would be shielding from the wind between the two objects, where they're basically pushed together by this wind between the two objects, causing what we deem gravitation. But that's a different way to look at it.
Thanks, Lemon. I think everybody got a turn. My final thoughts. Thanks to the panel again, and thanks to the mods in Discord and in chat for holding down the fort. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday Night Fights, so get your gloves on. It's going to be a fucking train wreck. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Train wrecks will be allowed tomorrow night for Friday Night Fights. So if you don't want to hear or be a part of a train wreck, don't come. Rumpus will be off the leash. Hayden has a show will be off the leash. Be open game tomorrow. But I'll be right back, guys. Appreciate everything and for being on the show. Thanks, guys. Okay. Thank you, guys. Small audience tonight. I think there must have been something else going on, or hopefully people are out enjoying the weather. But I'm sure we'll be back up tomorrow night for Friday Night Fights. We get some good stuff going and see what happens. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow night. Everybody have a good night.